What's going on, YouTube? Hope you're having a good day and I hope you're having a good week. We're going to talk about, does Trump have a path to presidency? And I'm going to go live on Instagram too. I decided to go on YouTube and Instagram, so I'm about to launch the Insta Live. Sip some of my tea, wait for people to come in. Appreciate you guys on Facebook. I appreciate you guys on Insta doing the double live to talk about, does Trump have a path to presidency? Let's see who we got. I'll do some shout outs while I'm waiting. Drink my tea. On YouTube, we got Johnny, Liberty Watch, Tim Truth, The Real Ayatollah, Super Broman, Jimmy Smith. Appreciate y'all. David Lau, Axiom, what's going on? We got Hammer Down Driver on Instagram. We got 88 something. Sorry, I can't read it. Creeping it real instead of keeping it real. It's a creepy name, but it's okay. Aloha, what's going on? We got Mike. We got Brain Gum. We're going to get all the shout outs here. Whew, it's too hot. I can't drink it. We got Frank. We got Edward. Who we got on Insta? We got Aaron. We got Chris. This is great. I'm up to about 1,000 on Instagram, about 500 on YouTube. I'll wait like a minute till everybody comes in, but I'm going to talk about the path to victory right now. It's a crazy, crazy election. I've for those on Instagram, if you want to know where my live stream from yesterday is, a lot of people ask where it is. It's actually on YouTube. I did it. It's on YouTube. The one I did with Tito Ortiz. He came in at the end to talk about how he won in Huntington Beach, but I put it on YouTube just because I don't keep those long videos on Instagram. I keep it pretty clean if you go to my Instagram. But it's a crazy election. And at the beginning of the election, the betting odds were 65 for Joe Biden and 35 for Trump. Trump was the underdog. And then the night of the election, Trump got up to a 80-point favorite, or 80 to 20 rather, maybe 60% favorite. He was 80%. And then it flipped the other way. And now it's like the other way. Now it's 80 Biden, 20 Trump. But now Trump is making a comeback in Arizona, even though they call it Arizona. They won't call Georgia. It's very close. It's 99%. It's a crazy, crazy election. So I'm going to talk about a few ways that Trump has a path. I'll talk about every way that Biden has a path. But then I also want to go through the whole year because this is some crazy stuff going on. So just to start it off, the path for Trump to win at this point would be he needs to win Arizona. He needs to win Pennsylvania. If he wins Pennsylvania and he wins Arizona, which are both possible, he'll actually get 270 without the courts. And, I think there's a few other ways it could break down. He needs to win Georgia. He needs to win North Carolina. He's up. But the way they're counting and what they're doing is really unprecedented. And social media, I would consider this some sort of like technological coup attempt. I know people might say I'm exaggerating, but they've told you for months, like, you can't question the results. You can't question the methods. Mail-in ballots are safe. There's nothing unusual. It's like the new normal. Coronavirus, they basically told you to quarantine in your house for weeks. They shut down business. Things got crazy. Things are still crazy. We still are living in some sort of a medical, prison state where everybody's got to wear masks. This is not normal. You don't have to disagree with me. You might think masks are great. You might think they're terrible. I'm not here to sell you on my opinion on this on this stream. But the point I'm trying to get to is it's not normal. This is not normal. This is not usual. You should be allowed to critique it because this is one of the biggest overhauls of U.S. society that we've ever seen in our lives. You should have a say in this. But this is what big tech has done all year is they've said that you don't have a say. And during coronavirus, I want to compare the two because there's very similar stuff going on, and I'm going to get into the whole year. But during coronavirus, I was reporting the numbers. I was looking at the data, Johns Hopkins, worldometers.info. And the day that I realized that the data didn't matter, the day that I realized that they were going to drag this on forever was the day that New York added, I believe at the time it was over 1,000 people to the death list. And this is when the death list wasn't that high. Over 1,000 people were added in New York and they never got a coronavirus test. So now I realized none of this information matters. The tests don't, I understand how they're counting cases. That's why you saw me do the videos. If you don't scroll back, I did one, how are they counting deaths? Anybody with coronavirus, they said died from coronavirus, even if they knew they died from something else. And that's not how they're counting in some parts of Europe. But the big red flag that should have woke up everybody is New York added thousands of people to the death list and they never had a COVID test. How do they know that they had COVID? And then you find out that there's a bunch of flu deaths, seem to be on the decline. Well, it's not really rocket science to figure out one of 7 ways that could have been. But that was the day. I don't want to bore you with the COVID stuff. That was the day I realized this data doesn't matter. They're rigging the vote. They're rigging the data. They're skewing it in such a way that makes it almost nonsensical. It took every aspect of integrity and basic need to even count that way. And I did a lot on how they're counting cases as well. Today, I had that moment with the election because I'm trying to be fair. Listen, Trump's got votes still. They haven't called it for Biden. That's how you know that Biden didn't win. If they could call it for Biden, they would have called it today. They can't because it's really that close. But the moment I noticed that this is exactly what they're doing right now to what they're doing with COVID is I'm going to read it. It's from 538, which is Nate Silver. He's like a left-wing pollster, and he's doing election results. This is straight off of a left-wing Nate Silver stuff. They're counting the batches. It says 2 more batches of Pennsylvania votes were reported, 23,277 votes in Philadelphia, all for Biden. That's correct. They found a whole batch of ballots, and every single one of them in Philadelphia, every single one, 23,277 votes, all for Biden. This was my COVID-19 moment where I said, there's no chance that you can get 100% of the ballots, even in the most Democrat city, in the most Democrat area, in the most Democrat district of the most Democrat state. You're not going to see 100-0. It just doesn't happen. You might see 90-10. You might see 80-20. You might see 70-30. You might see 60-40. You might even see 95-5 if you get a crazy percentage of the votes. You're not going to see 100-0. So the fact that they're allowed to add 100%, we got these new ballots a day later. We've had them. They're sitting here. We found them. Whatever. It's postmarked. They're all for Biden. This is the same thing as New York City or New York adding 1,000 people to the death list when they never had a COVID test. This is not my opinion. This is not a right-wing conspiracy theory. This was on the New York Times. New York adds thousands of people to the death list who never had a test. This is not me. This is not Alex Jones. This is not Fox News, although I think Fox News has solidified themselves as trash mainstream media. This is Nate Silver from 538 saying 23,277 votes in Philadelphia, all for Biden. This is not possible. And you look in Wisconsin and Minnesota, you look at the amount of people voting, makes absolutely no sense. Sorry, I'm going to have to read the super chats later, guys. I'm in the zone right now. But you look at all these things, there's, it's going up like this. And then all of a sudden in the night when everyone goes to sleep, it just goes up like that. It's like, are they finding 100% of the votes for Biden? And I didn't want to call it. You're not going to hear me make up stuff. I'm not going to claim things I don't know. I'm going to stick to what I know, and I'm not going to exaggerate. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, they really are finding ballots and counting them 100% for Biden, 0% for Trump. Doesn't happen. Not even in the most California is the most Democrat state. Los Angeles is the most Democrat city. You barely even ever see 80-20. You don't see 90-10. You certainly don't see 100-0. So there's a lot of funny business going on. I can't even name all the ways that they're doing it, but I'm going to start with this year because we'll get into it, but this to me is the big story all year. Everybody's just walking around like this is normal. So you have January, February. Trump has a booming economy. The economy is better than it's ever been. Black unemployment's down. Hispanic unemployment's down. I don't know about white unemployment because the GOP doesn't seem to even talk about it anymore because they're too busy pandering. But you get what I'm saying. Good economy. Unemployment's at an all-time low. People have more money. Even people that hate Trump are telling me, I have more money in my paycheck. Why is that? I'm like, it's probably because of the tax cut. They're like, I thought it was only for the wealthy people. No, that's just what the Democrats say. When they cut taxes, it's not just always for the wealthy. But anyway, they're not going to lose to an incumbent who's doing so well and everybody's doing so good. And then all of a sudden, the craziest thing that you've ever seen and I've ever seen in modern history, if not perhaps in the last 100 years outside of like war and genocide, happens. The whole country shuts down. The federal government, the local governments decide that it's time to quarantine indoors. Later, they told you to go outdoors. That should be a red flag. Everybody get inside for 2 weeks. And then 2 months later, they say, everybody get outside. It's like they're literally programming you like cattle. Put a muzzle on your face. Everybody inside. Go inside with your grandma, your mom, your dad, whatever, your whole generational family. Get indoors. And then 2 months later, they say, get out of the indoors, get outdoors. You can't sit inside at the restaurant. I mean, they're just throwing you left and right, and only apparently a select few people even notice. And the people who notice don't know what to do because if they notice and say something, I have athletes and people who, play on baseball teams, basketball teams. They see what's going on, but if they were to comment on it, you lose the job. If you're just a casual worker at any sort of company, you try to not wear the mask, you might lose your job. So everybody's like trapped in this. People think I'm exaggerating. I say it's modern slavery. I don't care what anyone says. Someone said, first of all, I get love from Nigeria. I get love from Africa. We got Black, Hispanic. I'm not trying to pander and brag. I'm just saying, a lot of people watch my channel from all over the world. And then I see this girl say, you're just privileged. That's why you think this is slavery. And I'm not even joking. This is just a little comedic sidestep, but I go to her profile. It's a white girl, and she's got a Black Panther quote in her Instagram bio. And I'm not talking about Black Panther like the movement with Malcolm X or whatever. I'm talking about Black Panther like the movie, the operative movie that the CIA was tweeting about a bunch of times. They're like, go watch Black Panther. I wonder why they were so interested in Black Panther. But anyway, I'm like, this is next level brainwashing. You got a white chick telling me I'm too privileged, and she's got a Black Panther. Like, I watched Black Panther. I can't possibly be racist. You're the racist. I mean, come on. I watched Wakanda Forever. It's like Lucy or whatever her name is, Lisa. I don't remember. But anyway, the point I'm getting to is this is like modern day, in my opinion, some sort of slavery, mental slavery, and physical restraint, putting stuff over your mouth and nose. Anyway, point I'm getting to. They have a situation where Trump statistically probably is not going to lose with such a good economy. They find a way to destroy the economy, grab more power, treat everybody horrible. A president who probably did more in the Middle East when it comes to Syria. He defeated ISIS. He got along with Kim Jong-un. He didn't kill as many people as Bush and Obama. And then they have this convenient narrative that he killed 250,000 people. So the guy who got along with North Korea, the guy who ended ISIS in Syria, the guy who helped Syria out by ending the regime change war, he stopped, you could look this up, it's even in the New York Times, a multi-billion-dollar CIA program. They were funding rebels. Trump cut the funding. That's huge. Progressives and left-wingers never give him credit for that. He did it. Look it up. It's real. That's why the weapons and stuff stopped flowing to certain rebel groups, aka terrorists, just like here. And then all of a sudden the terrorism stops. It's not a surprise. Donald J. Trump did that. They can't say that. They can't say he stopped the war with North Korea. They can't say he's striking peace deals. So they have this convenient narrative. Economy collapsed. He killed 250,000 people. This is so horrible because psychologically, when you're the president or the incumbent, if things are good, you probably don't lose. People don't want to change. People didn't want to change. Now everybody wants to change. Who doesn't want to? I want to change, but I know it's not Trump. But the average person psychologically is like, this needs to change. Trump is crazy. He's a fascist. He's working with Russia. 250,000 people dead. Like, people really believe this. They think Trump killed 200,000 people because they ran up the COVID death list. And then they're brainwashing people to say, it's all the right wingers. It's Georgia. It's Florida. Look at the list. Deaths per capita in America. This is a fact. And I got censored on Facebook for just saying it. This is CDC data. The top 2 deaths per capita in America are New York and New Jersey. And New York added thousands of people to the death list that never even got a COVID test. So they're running up the score, claiming Trump's killing everybody, and it's happening in their states. The Democrats and the media are out of control. So this came after the Russia collusion hoax, where they did it for 3 years. They planted a bunch of seeds and evidence that was never real, that they planted there, gave it to the FISA courts, used it to spy on people, used it to launch a 2-3 year investigation that led to nothing. Then they tried the Ukraine impeachment. They got caught. Trump released the transcript of the call. Adam Schiff made a total lie. He lied in front of Congress. And then he said, I wasn't lying. I was just doing a parody. Because that's what you do. This is like the Babylon Bee, I guess. You go up in front of Congress. If I'm in front of Congress, I guess I'm just going to do a parody. Instead of tell them what I know about social media, I'm just going to be like, you know what, let me do a Babylon Bee article for you. No, he wasn't doing a parody. He got caught lying. They didn't care. They pushed forward with impeachment as a political show. Couple weeks after it ends, all of a sudden you have the biggest crisis, economy destroyed, another reason to make it look horrible, psychologically tell people we want to change. And then the biggest thing came in. I'm bringing this somewhere. I'm not just going to rant about COVID, although it matters. This is my opinion. Russia hoax, coup attempt, an attempt to dethrone the duly elected president, because the deep state, a lot of people in the CIA and the FBI, a lot of people in the Republican Party, a lot of people in the Democratic Party, and the mainstream media, including half of, if not more than half of Fox News, didn't want Trump to win. People voted for him, but the elites who run Romney or Obama, that's your choice. Choose Romney, who cares? Choose Obama, who cares? You get McCain or Obama. Guess why they didn't care about that election? Because it doesn't matter. They're the same people. They just, one's black, one's white, one's red, one's blue. They're going to do nearly the same exact thing. Start the same wars, push the same health care. People don't even know Obamacare. A lot of it came from the shell of Romney care. They're all in on it, folks. This is why everybody hates Trump. It's because he's not one of them. So they tried to coup him with the Russia collusion. They tried to coup him with the Ukraine impeachment. They tried to act like he killed 200, 300,000 people. And then they did the most crazy thing this year that I warned people about. But there's not really much you could do. I don't want a bunch of credit or anything. It's like, you can't really do anything about it because it is what it is. Trump's doing his best to send lawyers and such, but they totally changed the landscape of how we vote in this country. And as they're changing everything, and I'm going to break down exactly how they're changing it, because you would think it's a crazy thing to think. They think they're the thought police. They say, we're going to radically change the country. You wear masks. You can't go on a plane like this. You can't go here. You can't go there. There's no debate. The country has been changed this year due to COVID-19. It's not even debatable. But then they say you can't even talk about it. You can't say where it originated from. Luc Montagnier is a Nobel Prize winning scientist. He discovered HIV. He's a credible virologist. He thinks the virus was man-made. But if you say the virus is man-made, you get deleted off social media. But only the experts are allowed to talk. But if you are an expert like him, he's more credible in virology than a lot of these people. He didn't just work for a government agency and head a government agency. It's like, oh, wow, you got put there by Ronald Reagan and you run a government agency. Doesn't mean you're like, Orville Wright or something building an airplane. It just means you're a government bureaucrat. He actually discovered something and got a Nobel Prize, but you can't even think that. You can't say that. You can't question the lockdowns. You can't question the mask mandates. No matter how much data you're going to close down. So this is not normal. And then they did the same thing with ballots. They changed the landscape of this entire country as far as how we vote. And they said, you're not even allowed to disagree with it. It's safe. It's effective. It's better than in person. And if you dare disagree with us and say that this isn't normal when it's not normal, you're going to be shut down. We're going to censor your post. They censor the president of the United States. Sometimes he'd be wilding. Other times he's saying factual stuff about what they're literally doing. So what did they do different this year? I talked about it for months, but I'm going to break it down. They did mass mail-in ballots. There's normally mail-in ballots, but in 2016, I tried to vote in person, but I did a mail-in ballot. You request a mail-in ballot, they give you a mail-in ballot. You don't request a mail-in ballot, they don't give you one. If you say you're going to vote in person, they don't send you a mail-in ballot. And if you do get a mail-in ballot, in a lot of states, if you go in person, they say you already got a mail-in ballot. They get one vote per person, one ballot per person. You don't have the option all over the place, which is safe. But anyway, they changed it in certain states, many states, a lot of ones with Democrat governors and attorney generals. They mandated in California, in New Jersey, I believe in Pennsylvania, I'm not sure where else, that they're sending everybody ballots. So every single person who votes, every single person who's registered gets mailed a ballot. So now you have tens of millions of ballots all over the place. Official U.S. ballots are everywhere, not because people requested them, not because this is normal. This is totally irregular. They used COVID-19, which also destroyed the economy, made you have to lock down like a prisoner, change your entire way of life, but also gave them justification because of the virus to mass send out tens of millions of mail-in ballots. And people didn't realize this, but in a lot of these, this is not normal. You would never have tens of millions of official ballots just everywhere. You got to request one to get one, but now they're all over the place. Who knows how many millions of people didn't even know they got a ballot. There's a lot of people who are registered that don't care about politics. They got a ballot. They got a ballot. This person got a ballot. My friend got 3 ballots. I had dozens of people message me and say, I got this person's ballot. This person doesn't live there. They didn't even try to be accurate. Usually you request the ballot and you get your own ballot. They don't just send every ballot out. Send them out like they're just releasing pigeons on the world and stuff. Tens of millions of ballots are out there. And then the craziest part was not just that they did that. That's insane enough. Of course, it's ripe with fraud. It's ripe with ways to cheat. It totally undermines the election, but they made it so you can't even talk about it. If you say that they did that, and I say, listen, this is not normal. This is not usual. I find this to be a bad idea because I have basic common sense. Whether it's Democrat or Republican, this is just a horrible idea to do an election. They censor you. They shut down your post and they redirect you to Instagram. They had, this is going to take weeks to count. It's normal. Stay calm. Don't worry. This is a coup attempt. And then the day of, or actually before, Trump is suing a bunch of these states. He's doing everything he can to sue them to say, listen, let's just get a fair election. But in Pennsylvania, multiple rules were passed. They can count ballots for a couple of days, even after the election. In North Carolina, they can count ballots for over a week. That's why they're not showing you your results. I'm going to get to another one. This is straight out of, let me see. I believe it's CBS. Let me see. Is it? Let's see. This is, where is it? I thought I posted it. I can't find it, but North Carolina officially, I apologize, they're counting for over a week. So they're like, we're going to hold the results for over a week. I think it's 7-8 days or something, and then they're going to count them. It's like, why would you have to do that? This is another one. This is what I was talking about. It's 8 News Now, which is local CBS News. They said, Justin, instead of delaying releasing results until tomorrow, Nevada officials will release more results later today due to the high interest in how Nevada voted. So they were just going to hold the results until the next day, but they just randomly decided, they're like, you know what? We just figured out that people want to know the results, so we're going to release them today. This is not normal. You don't just hold on to the results for a day, a week. You're like, we're going to wait till tomorrow. Oh, you guys want to hear the results? Oh, the biggest election of your lifetime? You want the results? No way. Okay, we'll release some today. What is this? This is insane. Any sort of fair election, first of all, if you really wanted it to be fair, and this is the nutty part about the Democratic Party, I used to lean left, but I was never this dumb. They say if you want an ID, a lot of Republican states and a lot of Republicans, they just want an ID ballot. If you go to vote in person, you need an ID. I voted in California. I didn't need an ID. I could have voted as anybody. If I knew your address, and in some cases, they don't even ask your address, I could have just goes, what's your name? This is my name. Okay. Literally, it's that easy. For me, they said, what's your address? I know my friends' addresses. I could have voted for anybody. They don't even require an ID. When I stayed at a hotel yesterday, I needed an ID, or they wouldn't even give me my own room I paid for with a card. You can't do anything. You can't fly a plane. You can't buy alcohol. You can't buy cigarettes. You can't get a hotel room. You can't go on a cruise without an ID. You can't get on a plane. You can't travel, but you can vote in a federal election without an ID. And Democrats want to tell you, if you want IDs, you're racist because, certain people in Black communities can't afford IDs. You're racist. Does anybody really believe that? Anybody that thinks you shouldn't have an ID to vote is obviously trying to cheat. Why else would you do that? But they say it's a racist thing. And a bunch of people just eat it up like complete idiots. So they allow you to not have IDs in a lot of states. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how you could cheat when you don't need an ID. Okay, now you have tens of millions of mail-in ballots were sent out because of COVID-19 for people who didn't request them. So now you have millions of ballots laying around. You have to give your own ballot in, right? It's like you can't have somebody else take your ballot in. Well, actually, no, they changed that law in a lot of states. It's called ballot harvesting, which means you could take somebody else's ballot in. This was never normal. They did it in California a few years ago, and then they brought it to more states because nothing says fair election like not needing an ID and being able to bring other people's ballot to the election. And if you bring 20 ballots to an election and they're not yours, they can't stop you because that's legal. So how are they going to know that that person didn't vote, or if that person, they don't know, they're counting them. And in states like Pennsylvania, they said that you can have a vote, you can count your ballot even if your signature doesn't match. So in New Jersey, they check your signature, and they denied my friend in New Jersey, and he had the right signature. They said, your signature doesn't match, we're going to deny your vote. And it was his signature, but they're actually checking. In Pennsylvania, anything goes. You could scribble, and it doesn't even have to look the same. They're like, oh, we'll count. They're doing everything they can to count every single ballot, no matter how legitimate it is or not. So what they did last night, and I knew this was going to be the case, I said, and I'm really not wrong, we'll see what happens, but I said, I think Trump's going to win. I was a little confident. I said, I think he's going to landslide, and I think they're going to try to have mass mail-in ballots and try to make up the difference. And I saw the scheme. They set up for the scheme because a lot of elections, if you win enough states, it's over. Of course, you got to count all the votes, but it doesn't take that long to count the votes. I'll give you an example. Florida, third biggest state. I think it's Texas, California, and Florida. California, Texas, Florida, in that order, I believe, with population. Florida has more people than Ohio, more people than Pennsylvania. It has more people than Wisconsin, than Michigan, than Alaska, than all this, Nevada, Arizona. Florida has more people. How were they able to count all their votes on election day? How were they? Because they actually tried to count all the votes. They didn't have some weird scheme where they were going to drag it out for 3 or 4 days. So when I made my first video 2 days ago, or I guess it was a day ago now, election night, Trump is leading in Wisconsin. He's leading in Pennsylvania. He's leading in every single swing state. He's literally about to landslide with 300 plus electoral college. He's winning so bad. Betting websites like electionbettingodds.com, Bovada, Pinnacle, all the mainstream betting websites where you could place bets if you're in the right states, they have Trump as an 80% to 20% favorite. That's like fourth quarter, you're up 20 points with 5 minutes left. It's like you're going to win, but it's not official, but like it's almost pretty much official. They had Trump like a 60-point swing. He's up 80-20. It's over. But then they did something crazy. They stopped the votes. And this was always part of the coup plan. I don't care if they censor me or not. I really don't care. They set up for the coup and said, we're going to be able to count for days or weeks. And they had Facebook and Twitter and Google and all of these tech companies that are in the bag for Joe Biden. They had them tell you that that's normal. This is okay. You're going to have to wait a week for North Carolina. You're going to have to wait 4 or 5 days for Pennsylvania. We've set up, it's normal. We're just going to count. Florida has more population. They counted overnight. There's no reason that you should ever be able to count this long. And in Philadelphia, Trump was, I'm talking about Pennsylvania, but in Pennsylvania, Trump's up 15, 16 points. They did not want him up this much, so they paused the election. They said, you know what? We're done counting for the day. We didn't count as much as we thought we'd count, but we're going to count tomorrow. In Georgia, where Trump was doing very well and they thought Biden could win, they said, you know what? A water main broke, but it didn't get over the ballots. Don't worry. Like it exploded, but like didn't get over the ballots. But just as a precaution, we're going to go count tomorrow. So, you know, that it broke, but it didn't harm anything. So we're just going to count tomorrow. So then Georgia delays their election. North Carolina, I guess somehow they got the right to count votes until next week. So they're saying, you know what, we're not going to count until next week. Nevada just decides to stop and says, you know what, we're just going to count them in a couple days. And then they said, wait a second. We just this is really a headline from CBS News. It says, just in, instead of delaying results until tomorrow, Nevada officials will release more results later today due to high interest in how Nevada voted. It's like they're trying to make you believe that they just figured out that people have a high interest in this election. Like, obviously, this is the biggest show on the earth. This is the grand finale of the greatest show on earth. And they just figured out that's how they count the votes. They don't have a time or a schedule or some sort of way to keep this fair. It's just like, we're going to count. Oh, wait, people want to know the results really bad. I guess we'll count them today. Like, what type of system is this? And any sort of system that you could pause and figure out how much you're down by is rigged. It's like, okay, he's up 16 points. Let's slow it down. We're going to stop. We'll come back tomorrow. And then in states like Wisconsin and Minnesota, you see the chart like this. Biden, oh my God. And then you see, wow, Philadelphia found 23,000 votes and they're all for Biden, 100%. They're so blatantly cheating in your face. And I didn't say this before because I'm going to listen. Trump can still win. Biden can still win. I want a fair election. If Biden wins, I'll say he won. I'm not a cheater. I'm not a liar. I want a fair election. I don't want a rigged election. I don't want Trump to cheat. I want a fair election. Once they're so in your face about this stuff, they're so cocky, they're so pompous because they know Google, Facebook, Twitter, even Fox News, worse than CNN now, CNN, they're all going to do their bidding. So if I was going to cheat, I would be like, listen, I wouldn't cheat. But first of all, it's like, let's make it believable, right? Like 95-5 or 90-10 or 85-15. You don't go 100-0. That's like the dumbest way to cheat. They're so blatant about it because I think they know they could just get away with it. This is in Pennsylvania where the attorney general called the election for Biden 3 days ago. He said before the election, he said, Biden's going to win. Once we count all the votes, Biden's going to win. No one even voted yet. How does he know that Biden's going to win without even counting? But last election, the polls lied, and the polls try to manipulate your mind to say, Hillary wins, it's over, don't go vote, game over, get on the winning team. It's a mind control system. All the media says the same thing. All the social media says the same thing, but they lost the election. They tried to rig everybody's mind. They tried to rig the coverage. Trump is this racist, even though this time he gained Hispanic support, he gained black support, he lost white support. If he's a bad racist, he's losing white support and gaining Hispanic support by the masses and some black support. Yeah, what a bad racist this guy is. But they did everything they could, but they lost the election because they didn't expect him to win. They tried to coup him multiple times during the last 4 years. And now this year, they had the perfect scheme with the mail-in ballots and big tech censoring everybody, using COVID as a tool and elections as a tool. Censor, mass mail-in ballots. Nobody can talk about it. Nobody could say, this is normal, this is normal. If you say anything about this, you're a bad person. We're going to censor you. Even if you're the president literally reading off what the Supreme Court decided in Pennsylvania, that's illegal, even though that's 100% factual. We're just going to give them out and anybody says otherwise. So what they did this time was they rigged the polls, once again, same as last time, but they did something different. Because Wisconsin plus 10. I said Trump might win, Biden might win. Wisconsin, you're an idiot. You're a liar. You're a propagandist. If you're saying your data says that Wisconsin's up 10, give me a break. No one's winning that by 10. But anyway, they're lying in the polls, but they actually had a way to now make it so the polls or the final results match the polls. Last time it's like, oh no, we lost. They counted the votes. He lost. It's over. It's over on election night. He lost. We don't have any ways. But now there's tens of millions of mail-in ballots out there that they sent to people who never requested it in multiple states, including a lot of big ones. And they set up the big tech to say it's not over on the election. And you have Trump 80-20 winning on every single betting website. He's up. It's like Tom Brady being up by 21 points in the fourth quarter. It's like, yeah, he could lose, but the chances are very light. And then they pause the results. He starts losing overnight when everyone's sleeping by margins that don't even make sense, that put the chart up in a vertical thing that's like statistically impossible. 100% of the votes that they find in Pennsylvania. And we're supposed to believe this is normal? It's not normal, guys. They're trying to steal this election. It's so blatantly obvious. And they don't care because they've schemed this. So they rigged the polls, and then they had a scheme to match what they tried to say with the polls by pausing it and rigging the media coverage. And here's what they did in the media too. They even have Fox News. Fox News is the worst. They called Arizona yesterday, and Arizona is going to be very, very close. Trump could edge it out. He could lose, but it's going to be very close. They didn't count all of the in-person ballots, which are mostly Trump. They didn't count a lot of the red areas, and they just called it. So Trump's winning Florida, Trump's winning Georgia, Trump's winning North Carolina, Trump's winning Texas. They didn't call any of his states. They called Arizona. They're calling the Biden ones because they want to cast the illusion like Trump can't win, even when he's an 80-20 favorite. And this is what I said yesterday. You don't have to say Trump won. It's not over. You don't have to say Biden won. It's not over. That's totally fine. But they were even acting on Fox News, on CNN, on all these things, especially Fox, who conservatives tune into. They're trying to act like Trump's this big underdog. And I'm looking, I'm like, he's not the underdog. What are you talking? So it's not even like they're like, it's not over. They're like, it's like trying to say it's the other direction. He has no chance. And they're not giving him the votes in order to, or the electoral, map to show you that he's actually in the lead, or he's actually doing well. They do the same thing with Bernie Sanders versus Hillary Clinton in 2016 with the superdelegates. When it came to Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, it was neck and neck, but they always on Google, they always had to tell you Hillary's up 400, 500, 600. Like they always had to try to cast the illusion it's over, and it eventually was over. And in this one, they did that. And as they did that, they made sure if he wins Wisconsin, so let's slow it down. Let's stop. Let's recount tomorrow. Let's not get away from it. And then now they have tens of millions of mail-in ballots everywhere. So now it's like, oh, here's the ones. Whose signatures on it? It doesn't matter whose signatures on it in Pennsylvania, because you can count a ballot in Pennsylvania without a signature. Your signature cannot match. You could spell a totally different name. They have to count it. You can ballot harvest in a lot of these states. I could come in a couple years ago. Ballot harvesting has never been a thing in American politics for the last 100 years. I come in with 100 ballots and I'm like, hey, these are ballots. You're like, you can't bring in someone else's ballot. You have to vote for yourself. But now you're allowed to bring in other people's ballots. They just assume that it's somebody asked you to bring their ballot in or something. This is unprecedented. I'm going to look at Twitter real quick, see what's going on. Let's see. I guess they're still waiting. They're still waiting in Arizona. If Trump wins Arizona outright and he wins Pennsylvania, it's over for him. But I'm guessing, just to wrap it up, thank you guys for the super chats here. I'll read this one. Thank you. Oh, Bryson, what's up, brother? Thank you, Bryson, for the super chat. God bless you, brother. I'm going to have to $50 for the super chat. Bryson, that's dinner. Next time you're out here, me and you, that's dinner. I appreciate it. And thank you to, who is that? Derek Licone. He said, love you. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I work in manufacturing. I'm scared. Don't be scared. The fear is not the answer, my brother. It's all gonna work out either way. We're gonna win. We're gonna, be fine either way. Don't buy into the fear. We got to be strong. We got to stand up. But this is what's going on. So Trump is as prepared as you could possibly be. He's been suing. He's got lawyers. That's all you really can do. And I talked to a friend earlier who loves Trump, and he said Trump didn't do enough. We all saw this coming. What can he really do, though? He can't stop the election. He's been saying since June it's going to be rigged. He explained exactly how it's going to be rigged. They said that's all he really can do. He can explain it, and then he can fight it in court. He's not a dictator. He's not a fascist, so he can't just do something about it. He's trying. He's suing the Supreme Court, or whoever he's suing. It goes to the Supreme Court. He won a few. He lost a few. He lost in North Carolina. He lost in Pennsylvania. He tried his heart out to try to get them to stop cheating, but they won a few battles, a few big ones. Let's delay it for a week. We can count ballots that are postmarked for today, or as long as it's postmarked before the election, you can count it for a couple days. So they found in Michigan, and we'll see what happens. But Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, he talked to somebody at the post office, and they told people at the post office, because they need a postmark from before November 4th or whatever election day was. So they're telling the postal workers to postmark it before the election, the day after the election, because it doesn't need to be from before the election. It just needs to be marked as before the election. But this is unprecedented. Florida's been counted with the third biggest state in the country. California was counted. Texas was counted. but I'm supposed to believe that Arizona can't count in Maricopa County, who has a corrupt, leadership there. Philadelphia is getting. This is the smoking gun, folks. If you don't take any, because I'm not going to just say this election's rigged. This election's rigged. I'm not going to say that randomly. 23,277 votes in Philadelphia, all for Biden. There's 0.00001% chance that you're going to find a whole group of ballots and it's going to be 100-0. It's not going to happen in the reddest part of Oklahoma. It's not going to happen in the reddest part of Utah or Idaho. This is statistically impossible. You might find 90-10. You might even find 95-5. You're never in your life going to find 23,277 votes in Philadelphia, and they all go for Biden. This is such an obvious setup. And people, you can't even say, well, how can they do that? Normally, you can't just have ballots all over the place. You're not going to have tens of millions of ballots. There's only you vote in person or you request a ballot. So if you request a ballot, you vote with your own ballot. They sent me a ballot. I never used it because I voted in person. They sent every single voter in multiple states a ballot, tens of millions of ballots everywhere, millions of ballots laying around in mailboxes, in places. They probably know who doesn't vote, who's alive, who's not. Flecka's talks, if you go to his Twitter, shout out Flecka's, he's got proof that they're allowing dead people to vote. But this has always been a thing. The question is, are they going to be able to do something about it? So I have good news on two fronts, and then I'm going to read some of your questions. The good news is, one, we've never had a fighter. We've never had a fighter in the Democratic Party. They've always been phony for the last 10, 20 years. We've never had a fighter in the Republican Party. Romney's a phony. Obama, whatever his name is, George Bush is a phoney. McCain is a phony. God bless his soul, but he was a phony when he was alive. And Meghan McCain sucks. No offense. God bless you. But, I don't like your takes. But anyway, point I'm trying to get to is we've never had somebody who actually fights. Trump is not backing down. It's not bad. He's not trying to rig the election. He's not a sore loser. This is the most insane election ever. They used COVID-19 to scheme a way to cheat. They set up the stage. They set up social media to act like it's normal in the same way they want you to think it's normal to quarantine yourself. They're like, I was at an event and someone's like, 300 people are going to die. I felt bad. I'm not mad at these people who say this stuff on my comments. I feel bad. I'm at Sturgis. I'm having the time of my life. I performed in front of 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people. I'm talking to people, greeting them Anomaly, meeting people, bikers. I'm having the time of my life. And they think they're so scared. They're so filled with fear and propaganda that they think if you do a show in front of a couple thousand people, hundreds of people are going to drop dead. It's not going to happen. That's not how the world works. I mean, people die, people get sick, colds and flus and COVID spread. But at the end of the day, you're allowed to live life. You're allowed to breathe air. You should be allowed to wait. You should be a waitress or work on a farm without having to wear a mask. This is not normal. This is not usual. This is not okay. They have no plan to end this because they're not using real metrics. I did the video, how are they counting cases? If you go to that video, it's all CDC data. It's all data from the top people in the country who are counting this stuff. They're counting thousands, if not millions, of people with COVID who never had a COVID test. If you, in multiple states, if you have a cough, if you cough and go to certain doctors and say, what's going wrong with you? I have a cough. And then you say, have you been around anybody with COVID-19? You say, yeah, I think so. I think I was at this event. Someone had COVID-19 there. You can get a positive COVID-19 test without ever having a test. They don't have to even give you one of the COVID-19 tests. And the tests are a whole different story. Those metrics mean nothing because it's so loose. If you die from a heart attack, but you have COVID, you died of COVID. If you had a cough and you died of COVID. You got hit by a train, but you had COVID-19 in your system, you died of COVID. You didn't get a COVID test, but you coughed and something happened, you died of COVID. You had COVID, he has COVID. They all have. So we're counting cases. The cases don't matter because we're just mass counting and we're exaggerating and we're counting them everywhere. If you counted common cold in the same way, they have it. Millions of people have it. He died. Well, he must have died of that. No, you don't count anything in the country has ever been counted this much. The more you count, the more you're going to find. The looser you are with the counting, the higher the count goes. The higher the count goes and you're looser with the death count, the higher the death count goes. The death count's high in the states that are run by Democrats that are just clocking up the numbers, adding thousands of people to the list. So the metrics mean nothing. And it's the same, unfortunately, with this election. I went into it wanting a fair election. I knew they would cheat, but, I thought Trump would have more votes. I thought it would be a landslide. And to be quite frank, it was a landslide. On election night, he's up 80-20 in betting odds when he was down 65-35. It was like a 60-point swing. Even CNN was ready to say that Trump has a path and Biden almost has no path, and they paused the vote. And any social media company, I don't care how much they lie, how much they deceive, how much they censor, any sort of election, whether it's for Trump, whether it's for Biden, Republican or Democrat, you can't have a way to add votes afterwards. You can't just pause an election. All the votes need to be in. All the votes need to be secured. All the votes need to at least be tallied. This is how many votes we have, and that's it. It's frozen. You count them all. It's over. There's no, you report here, and then you report here, and then we're going to sit back and wait for a few days, and then they can see, well, we're down, what were they down? 800,000 in Pennsylvania, but we have, 1 to 2.5 million votes left, so they know exactly what they need to do. And then what do you know? They start putting in results that are statistically impossible. I never would have said this election's rigged. I wasn't coming here to start a theory or just say this or that. They found 100% of a 20,000 plus vote batch all for Biden. If I found a vote, we found 30,000 votes in Arizona, all for Trump. It's not possible. It doesn't matter if it's the reddest district in Arizona. You're not going to find 100 votes for Trump. You're not going to find it in Texas. You're not going to find it in Oklahoma, who had every county, I believe, vote red. It doesn't happen. It's 65-35, 70-30, 30, 80-20, maybe 85-15. You don't find 100-0 every single. This is not possible. This is a rigged election, and it's not hard to see how it's rigged, and it's not hard to see why they rigged it. They never wanted him to win. He won. They all lied. The whole Russia collusion narrative, they had a Steele dossier. It was fake. They gave it to this person. The news reported on it. They gave it to the FISA courts. Oh my God, we have justification to spy. Then they set up a whole 3-year investigation. They find virtually nothing, literally nothing on Trump, just his associates with things that had nothing to do with Russia. 3 years, it's over. As soon as it's over, Ukraine impeachment. They try to do that. They get caught lying. They said it was a parody. Adam Schiff said it was a parody. He got caught making a whole fake story that Trump never said. Why did they not want Trump to talk to the Ukraine president about Biden? Was it because Trump was trying to do something nefarious? No, it's because between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, there was some stuff going on to Ukraine. So not only were they trying to coup the president with an impeachment, they were trying to protect their own asses. And if you trace the Romney family enough, you'll find they probably have some stake in the game too. So they're all in on it. That's why you have Republicans and Democrats against them. And then as soon as the Ukraine impeachment ends, you have the COVID thing that destroys his economy, that mass does mail-in ballots. You have social media censoring people. And then you have justification to delay the results. They say they're going to delay the results. They send out tens of millions of ballots, and then they freeze the election in certain states where he's winning. They freeze the election, and every single one of his votes goes away. And I'll tell you what, let's see. Hold on. Where's he at? So it's looking good. Even the betting odds right now, I'm just reading them right now. The betting odds for Trump, he's a slight underdog in Georgia, but very small. It's almost even in Georgia, which means that's good for him. And in Pennsylvania, he's an underdog, but not by very much. I got to see what happens in Arizona. If he wins Georgia, he should win Georgia. I don't know what they're up to there, but this is the problem in every state. Georgia, it's a red state, right? You have Atlanta. It's run by Democrats. They're pausing elections. They got leaks in certain counties. It's such a joke. In Pennsylvania, you got Philadelphia. In Michigan, you got Detroit. In Wisconsin, you got Milwaukee. You look at the voter turnout, it just makes no sense. Yeah, there's going to be more people voting maybe, but 10, 15% more in certain counties. This is such an obvious fix, and he still has a path to victory. He's only a slight underdog in Georgia, like almost even in Georgia. He's still an underdog, but not an astronomical underdog in Pennsylvania, Trump. And in Arizona, I'm telling you, he has a path to victory. We'll see what happens with the votes. But, they called it early because they're trying to paint this picture. He has no chance. The people who are counting it in certain districts, they have on their Twitter, Trump is not my president. He's not the president. They've never accepted his election. Listen, to be honest, I didn't have a problem with Obama because I'm not a psychopath. I didn't like certain things. I realized he was corrupt towards the end, like everybody did. But I wasn't like, Obama's not my president. No, Obama was my president for 8 years. And I voted. I didn't even vote for Trump the first time, to be honest. But, he was my president. I'm not living in this fantasy world where it's like, my president was George Bush for another 8 years. Like, no, my president was George Bush. I disliked George Bush more than I disliked Obama, to be honest. I knew he was a sneak since the time I was 18. And then Obama was my president for 8 years. And then Trump was my president for 4 years. And guess what? He was everybody's president for 4 years. But they make this fake story. He's not my president. They've never accepted him. And this is not normal. It's like he is your president. Now you go vote for Biden if you don't want him to win. It's not like he was never my president. He's not. And these are the people who are counting the votes. It's on their Twitter. He's not my president. You think these people aren't going to cheat? Their whole life is a lie. All right, I'm going to read some super chats. Bryson, I see that. Thank you, brother. Chris Campbell, thank you, my man. Tracy Schroeder says it's part of the plan. Like our president says, the best is yet to come. I mean, overall, God has a plan, so I'm not worried about that. But you guys got to calm down. You're like, he's got a secret way. He sent out FBI agents to catch him. It's like, guys, that's a pipe dream. This is going to get won by people like Giuliani, Eric Trump, Project Veritas. This is going to be people who are, trying to stop the steal. This is not, you guys got to stop like hallucinating these theories. You're like, he's there. It's like, he can win. I just told you he has a path to win. But like, you guys sit there and like Tom Fitton comes through in the clutch and Project Veritas comes through in the clutch. And you got people out there trying to stop the steal. And this is a bad, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get off topic, but this is starting to become a bad thing. If instead of doing everything, we have patriots all over the place trying to make sure the election is fair, you got millions of people just sitting there like celebrating all the time. It's good to be happy. I don't want you to be fearful, but like you're becoming a problem in the patriot movement because you think it's already done for you. God has a plan, but also God uses his soldiers to do stuff for him. James O'Keefe doesn't just sit back and say, oh, trust the plan, man. Trust the plan. It's Trump's got the plan. It's like, no, if James O'Keefe didn't do anything, there is no plan. He's part of the plan. You're part of the plan. I'm part of the plan. There is no plan besides God's plan. And God's plans includes his soldiers doing work for him. It's not, oh my God, it's happening secretly. Podesta's in Guantanamo Bay because I want him to be. It's like, no, that's all wrong. It's not right. Oh, Bill Barr's got it under. Bill Barr isn't doing shit. And he hasn't been doing shit for the last year. You guys have just been making conspiracy. Oh, and I'm not saying conspiracy theories because that's a BS term anyway, but it's like Bill Barr's arresting John Podesta and Chrissy Teigen. Like, you don't like Chrissy Teigen. You don't like John Podesta. So you're hallucinating the fact that things are getting done by people who are doing nothing. Durham did nothing. You said for years, Durham's going to get the report before the election and it's all the lockdown. It never happened. So trust the plan, trust God's plan, and trust the plan of patriots like Rudy Giuliani, Tom Fitton, James O'Keefe, the Trump family, his lawyers who are actually suing these people who are trying to rig the election, people who are out there like Cernovich and Ali who are actually trying to figure out how the elections are fair, people who are poll watch. This is the plan. It's not the plan of you sitting there just hallucinating that it's all secretly being done. People are sending me the stuff. They're like, oh, he sent out sting operations. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like he sent out sting operations where he caught him we're catching them. But there is no plan like that. It's not like, oh, don't worry, it's all happening. It's going to happen. We're going to win. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful. But this is not going to work if you guys just sit around for 4 years like, oh, Mitch McConnell's Batman. Mitch McConnell's going to fly in with Bill Barr on his back and he's going to stop the steal. They're not stopping the steal. We're stopping the steal. So you guys got to wake up from this like brainwashing. It's like left-wing brainwashing. Like, yes, human trafficking is real. Trump is cool, but Bill Barr and Durham, these are not superheroes, guys. These are people that you claimed would get stuff done. They got nothing done. If Trump wins the election, it's not going to be because of them. Bill Barr did not win him the election. Durham did not win him the election. None of these characters, Jeff Sessions did not win him the election. None of these characters you guys have been hyping up like superheroes got him the election, guys. It's going to be you. It's going to be me. It's going to be James O'Keefe. It's going to be the voters, and it's going to be his lawyers. Okay, that's what's going to happen. All right, let's. Someone said, okay, we get it. I mean, I'm driving the point home, but it is what it is. Let's see what's going on. All right, let's see what's going on Twitter. The odds are not looking bad. Let's see where we're at in Arizona. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about. I mean, Trump's looking good in PA. He's looking good in Virginia. They're going to try to cheat. They've already tried to cheat, but they're going to try to cheat in North Carolina. They have a week to count North Carolina. Hey, do Democrats? I'm just curious. I don't know who's watching this, but do Democrats really think that this is normal? Like, oh, let's count for a week. It's like, regardless of who wins this election, we have to get an actual system going, guys. We can't have Republicans or Democrats counting votes for a week when they know the difference. 95% reported. Arizona's over with 70% reported it's over, even though it's not, but 98% report it's not over, 99% report. This is such a joke, guys. All right, let's see. See what we got going on here. So said, my dog, we've never seen an election stolen this bad. This is I'll say that, let me see. Super Chat said, I can't control it. I have a headache. Nothing I can do or say or change or anything. Everything is in motion. Trump will win though. Well, don't, drink some tea or something. My tea's probably cold now, but don't get a headache. Don't freak out. Don't be sad. It's all good. But this is the moment. This is like pinnacle Americana. This is like 1776 or 74. I get my year right, but this is a moment. Take it in. You're sitting in the middle of Trump's a favorite, Biden's a favorite, Trump's a favorite, Biden's a favorite, and you're going to see another surge, and life is going to be changed, and there's going to be another celebration, possibly, hopefully. But soak it in, because this moment is it's unavoidable. I want to say, one of my, I'm not even going to say critiques, because I hate critics. Critics are stupid. They just talk. But one of the things that I wanted to tell patriots, Trump supporters, whoever, GOP, even left wingers, whatever, just because Trump wins, if he wins, the Senate, whatever, we have a lot of work. We need to make sure they actually do something. We can't just sit around and act like they're doing it secretly behind closed doors. Like, no, things get done when you stand your ground and say, this is how I feel. I don't care if it's popular, and then it'll get popular if it's the right thing. We have to do that. But in general, even if Trump wins, this moment was coming. Even if Trump landslided, which I honestly think he did before they paused the votes, you have Facebook never will accept Trump as their president. Google never will accept Trump as their president. Twitter, Jack Dorsey, al-Baghdadi, never will accept Trump as their president. Uber and Lyft, even though they're getting screwed over by progressives, they're crying in California, vote for Prop 22, I'm losing all my stuff. It's like, well, then stop voting for Democrats. If Republicans ran California, you wouldn't need Prop 22, because nobody would take your crap away. Democrats take their crap away and they still vote Democrat. It makes no sense. But every technology company is against Trump. These technology companies have more power than Rome. So the point I'm getting to is, whether Trump wins or loses, and whether he would win, this moment was coming. Like, there was no, and this is why, I'm not trying to be mean, but this is why people got to get out of this zone of like, it's going to be good, be happy. But you have to understand, regardless of the plan, there's going to be this moment. There's going to be a moment. There's going to be more moments that's like, they're not going to budge, and we're not going to budge, and Trump's not going to budge. And I'm not even talking about election results. That's clearly happening now. I'm talking about, like, they're never going to accept them. They're never going to play to. There's got to be some sort of reformation, and it's going to involve everybody. There's going to be some sort of standoff. I'm not talking about violent or physical, but like, people are living in two different realities. Good and evil, right and wrong, true and false are separating. And people are caught in these zones where they want to sit inside and wear masks all day, and other people want to go out and breathe air. And it's not sustainable. And it's not like you have Trump has all these tech companies on his side and America's working fluently. That's not happening. It's just not true. So you have, whether Trump wins or loses, you have every company in the country besides like Home Depot and Chick-fil-A. They hate the president. They don't want to work with him. They don't want to work for the country. They're constantly undermining America, everything about America. Fox News sucks, even worse than CNN now. These are not just opinionated, biased news corporations. They think they control the minds of the country, and they actively subvert every aspect of our country, our freedom, our First Amendment. They try to take away our Second Amendment. They try to rig elections. There's nothing wicked that a foreign enemy of America would do that CNN and Fox News now and all these other Twitter and Google that they're doing. They're like Trump calls them the enemy of the people. It sounds harsh, but that's really what they are. It's like they're the enemy of the American people and the people of the world, to be honest. So there's going to be a moment anyway. It's not like Bill Barr's not going to save your life and you get to just like sit behind a laptop and act like you did what Tom Fitton and Rudy Giuliani did. Hunter Biden's laptop, that's thank Rudy Giuliani and the repairman. It wasn't your friends. It was them who did the work. But in general, you can celebrate it. But I'm just saying, it's coming to a point where you're going to have to realize that there is no just like immediate end. There's going to be a standoff, whether he wins or loses, whether he comes with the votes or not. And we're going to have to figure it out. And we're hoping that government can do it. That's the hope, right? Everyone tells me, don't worry, Trump will win, and then we'll get rid of Section 230, and then it'll all be fine. And to me, it's not going to go that smooth. These people never accepted his election. They never accepted it. no matter what he does, they're willing to coup. They're willing to hold their ground. They're willing to shut down. They shut the country down. They hate the president so much, they said, let's just turn it all off. Let's just turn everything off. They're willing to sabotage themselves for things that are beneficial to them and against him. There's going to be a moment, regardless of what happens tonight, where this is not sustainable. This shifting of the people, this completely malpractice of like virtually lawyer, like the whole system that this country runs on is like deteriorating. This election is just an obvious version of it. All right, I'm going to read. Jake Hermeling said, so Trump wins and political commentary slows. What's the next big thing for Anomaly? P.S. Jack Dorsey, a.k.a. al-Baghdadi, respect, LOL. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. I mean, I'm gonna still make music and stuff, but I'm still gonna do political analysis videos. Like, obviously, I like Trump. I appreciate him. I think he's gonna pull it off today. But I don't, and to be quite honest, people would say the opposite, but they'd be lying. Trump is good for everybody. He's good for business. He's good for CNN. He's good for Fox News. He's good for, he's a walking, breathing economy. I mean, just his presence built thousands of people's careers. If you hate him, you have a career. If you like him, you have a career. He's a walking economy. I mean, he's given the news industry so much money. It's insane. And he's given me the inspiration to do what I do. I mean, him and, watching Hillary Clinton cheat everybody really inspired me to be here. So, I appreciate him. But if I don't even want to believe that he won't win, but if he doesn't, I'm still going to do exactly what I do now, whether he's in office or Biden is in office. My work's cut out for me. If Trump wins, they're going to do the same thing they've been doing the last 4 years until enough people realize that they're doing it. And if Biden wins, they're going to do it even more, and they're probably going to censor more, and they're going to work more hand in hand. And there's going to be more of a backlash because people treated Trump supporters like dirt the last 4 years. I mean, the way that celebrities treated Trump supporters in the media, the contempt they have for the average American, for the families that I saw in Arizona when I went to his rally, for the working rural people who farm and drive trucks and keep this country afloat. They're the essential workers who actually do something. They don't just make $100,000 doing snarky commentary, like the real workers in this country. If Biden wins, it's not like I don't know what to talk about. I understand there's a lot of like Trump social media people where all they do, no offense, I mean, it's very necessary, but there's certain people who just, say a lot of things like they're cheerleaders. But even to be honest, I think a lot of people are trying to knock those type of people and say, they're not going to have a job when Trump loses, but they probably still will, because Trump's built a movement and a resistance where it's like, there's going to be patriots, there's going to be, conservatives who now there's a culture and there's a market. And to be honest, even without Trump, that's not going away. But for me, that's obviously my target audience, like conservatives, people who like Trump. That's who watch my videos the most. But to be honest, that's not even all the content I do. Like my biggest videos this year, my biggest video is about Bill Gates. Didn't mention Trump once. Pretty bipartisan. A lot of left-wingers liked it as well. I just called out Bill Gates and what he does. 10 million views. My coronavirus reporting, 8 million views, 9 million views. I don't even think I mentioned Trump one time in my biggest two videos, which is rare because Trump is a huge he's a huge moneymaker. You say Trump, 10 million views. That's why they all talk about Trump. Trump. You love him, you hate him, you're getting millions of views. My biggest videos were actually not even about Trump. It was about COVID and Bill Gates and stuff. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not worried about it, but I'm more concerned for the country. But to be honest, it is what it is. Whatever happens, I think there's a reason that it happened. If Trump wins, the reason is clear. If he loses, I think, to me, if he does lose, I think the message is people need to realize, like, Trump's not going to be there forever. Whether it's 4 years or 8 years, whether you love him or hate him, he's a blip in time, and he's maybe changed the country more than anybody has since like the founding fathers. I know that's a statement, but the dude is an animal, whether you love him or hate him. He's changed the country, but I think there's a lot of people who hate him. And the funny part about when he's gone, hopefully in 8 years, but if he's gone in a couple months from the White House, these people who hate him will realize that they've been scapegoating all their problems and their shortcomings. A lot of people have issues, internal issues. They're going to realize it was never Trump in the first place. That's like, they're going to be like, dang, what do I, it's like the ex-girlfriend who always blames you. And then you're out of the, and then she's like, wait, like you can only blame your ex for so long. At a certain point, it's just you. That's like Trump. So the silver lining is like, people are going to realize that hate him, that it wasn't about him. And people who like him will realize that regardless of if he's there for 4 or 8 years, he's a blip in time. He's inspired a lot of people. But at the end of the day, now the next era is in. And, it's interesting. I've been reading a lot of books from World War II and getting both sides of the perspective, what he said. And I'm starting to realize how this stuff came to be. And I know this might be controversial, but it is what it is. I think it's true. A lot of people are like, how did Stalin get there? How did Hitler get there? You learn these things in school. I think you learn about Hitler more than Stalin, but Hitler killed millions. Stalin killed millions. I think Stalin killed way more people than Hitler, but the communists won the war, so you don't really learn about that. But the point is, people are wondering, like, why did he hate so much? Why did he do this? How did communists, why is it so bad? And what I'm starting to learn is it's all very similar. I mean, I don't want to scare people, but like what the Marxists were doing, who they were, how they were operating is very similar to what's happening now. And I think the unreported truth about Hitler that will never really be taught, although I've even seen recently, I've seen like Talmudic Jewish rabbis even talk about it. Like it seems like a lot of top Jews are actually saying this to their people, which is probably good. But, why did that escalate to that point? And like, the Bolshevik Revolution, they killed millions of people. And I believe his first election, nobody liked him. His second election, he won in a landslide. So the point I'm trying to get to is the people who hated Trump, they said he was Hitler. Trump was never Hitler. There's some similarities, but I would say for the most part, they're extremely different. It's like he drank water. He was a nationalist. But for the most part, they're very, very different. But if you have 4 years of Biden or 4 years of Kamala Harris or 8 years of like AOC's plan, this is going to radicalize people even further. I don't want it to happen, obviously, but I'm starting to see now it's like, how do you get from there to there? And not to scare people, but I feel like that's kind of how you do it. You don't allow certain things to happen. You push your way through. You do a lot of really messed up stuff. And then, things get polarized. And, in Russia, in Bolshevik Russia, millions of people died. And then they're going here, they're going there, they're going there. There's economies being bankrupted, people being murdered, people being threatened. And then the psychotic leader comes up because it's like either you get the psychotic leader or you just get completely destroyed. And I feel like, in America, then if Joe Biden wins, not because Democrats won, not because of Obama, strictly because of how the left is acting, the Antifa, Black Lives Matter types that just go out and destroy stuff and claim that it's a peaceful protest, how the media acted, how the banks acted, how, both parties acted, how, the Democratic parties acted, just based on how they've acted and how far they've gone and how crazy they've gone. If they win for 4 or 8 years, you're going to see a massive swing, in my opinion, to a bigger, stronger, more powerful, more intense right wing, just based on survival tactics. That's what I see, at least. So I hope, to me, I always thought, 4 more years of Trump, this can all be solved without, escalating to that point, because he's really actually super nice. He's nothing like, he's not a racial purist. He's not Hitler. I think he's like a nice guy. I think he just loves America. And if you don't let him do it like the nice way, he might sound mean, but he's really not. I mean, he did prison reform for Black people. He's doing plans for Hispanic people. He loves everyone. You shut him down, you treat people like shit for 4 or 8 more years, you're going to get a crazy leader. So that's my warning to the left wing. It's like, how did Stalin rise? How did Hitler rise? I mean, you had protests turn to riots. You had people acting psychotic. You had leaders who didn't value certain people. Say what you want about the right wing, but I don't know very many people. It's very fringe that actually, hate certain people. You get to the left wing, a lot of these people hate white people. They hate men. They hate Black men. F you, white women. F you, Black men. It's all about race. It's all about this. These are the type of people that are going to Bolshevik revolution people. I don't care, what they claim to do. You'll figure it out eventually. But the people who voted for that, we'll see what happens. But this is all very similar. I pray that Trump wins, and I think we can avoid a lot of this nonsense. But I mean, you're having the deterioration of like society, really. I mean, I think the COVID thing is proof of that as well. I'm not trying to overdo it, but like, what do you call it when like the country stops? People don't even think of this stuff. Like America is a very powerful nation, you know. It's very economy. People come from all over the world trying to come to America. What do you think happens when you shut your economy off for 3 months? What do you think happens when you stop operating, but China starts going for months and you're just sitting there? You're going to get overtaken. And when you get overtaken, you're going to lose a lot. And when you lose a lot, you're going to realize what you had. And when you realize what you had, it's going to be too late. And when it's too late, you're going to figure out what happens to countries that don't have the wealth or the power or maybe, you know, the economics that America has. And when that happens, things are going to get crazier. America's been a powerhouse, and the people here, especially the left-wing people, they take it for granted. They're not appreciative, and you know, they act like this is so bad. You'll figure out what's bad. I'm gonna read a comment real quick. This was on my Facebook page from Voyo V Cabo. He wrote on my page. He said, "As the son of an immigrant, my folks usually told me how they stole elections in Africa, and it's just similar to how the Dems are doing it. Mysterious votes come at night, and when we wake up, they're leading. This is sad and crazy how America is going and cheating this way." So this is son of an immigrant for Africa, you know, sad because he's seeing America fall like corrupt parts of Africa. This is somebody from, he said, "I work with an older gentleman from Venezuela. He came into work today, the most distraught I've ever seen him. He said he was telling everyone this is exactly what they did when they were overthrowing Venezuela. This year was a coup, folks. I don't care if they censor me. I don't care if this, you know, Fox News operatives that just say nothing on Fox or whatever upset. This is a coup. This is how they coup people. You turn a protest into a riot. They did this in Syria. They escalate protests into riots. When they become riots, the United States uses justification to send in rebel groups. Who are the rebel groups? They're terrorists. What did they do in Syria? They're funding two sides of the war. They're funding rebel groups. ISIS has this. They're not fighting ISIS. They weren't fighting ISIS until Trump came in. There's a reason ISIS existed, because America was funding either them directly or them indirectly without knowing it. You know, I'm not going to speculate, but I think we know the truth. This is why ISIS doesn't have a huge naval force. ISIS doesn't have a huge air force. How can ISIS, guys? You can't even walk to 7-Eleven without being on a 7-Eleven camera. But Jeffrey Epstein died. They have cameras at 7-Eleven that work, but not at the most high security prison in America. You know, they can track you anywhere you're going, but they can't figure out where ISIS is when they have an air force that could drop atomic bombs. This was never a real plot until Trump got in. But the point I'm getting to is this is how they did it in Syria. And I have tweets from 2017. I warned people of this in 2017. I said, guys, they're doing in America what they did in Syria. And people don't realize it until it's too late. For instance, you know, what they did in America, give or take, is very similar to what they did in Africa. Not with the shutdowns, but Bill Gates, a lot of the vaccines and polio stuff, they go to Africa and they test it out and they do this and they help people and they're so great. And, you know, Africans, I think, rejected the World Health Organization this time more than America, because they probably figured out, just like India did, they figured out what they were doing and they're like, yo, leave us alone. We don't want your help anymore. So people didn't care that was going on. And then it happens in America. Now more people care. It's the same with Syria. A lot of people don't realize, but how do you start a civil war in Syria? Protests turn to riots, you cause instability, you cause chaos. And then in Syria, they had multiple groups that they were funding to try to kill Bashar al-Assad. So they're fighting ISIS. They're claiming to fight ISIS. ISIS is fighting Bashar al-Assad. They're fighting Bashar al-Assad. It's a triangle. America, Bashar al-Assad, ISIS. America's fighting ISIS, but they're also fighting Bashar al-Assad. ISIS is fighting America, and then ISIS is fighting Bashar al-Assad. It's a total joke. That's what they destroyed Syria. Obama, Hillary destroyed Syria. Then they went to Libya, and then they killed the leader, Muammar Gaddafi, and then it ended up in slavery. Google the Libyan slave trade, thanks to Obama and Hillary Clinton, regime-changing war. And I told people in 2017, they want to do that here. They hate Trump because they didn't want him to win, and they're trying to coup him. And they tried and they tried and they tried, because it's America, because I think they have respect for you somewhat. They're like, you know what, we're not going to do what we do in Syria and Libya. They can't get away with that here. So they have to use the media. They have to use their other ways. And this year they just said F it, because Trump was doing so well in February. You know, Google, and I'll tell you this, Google George Soros Davos 2020 and tell me the first thing that comes up. I'll just get it for you real quick, because I want to make sure I quote it right, because if not, George Soros, you know, he could be a little lawyer happy. So let's see. George Soros Davos. Ready? Put some pieces together. George Soros, Davos. It's CNBC. It says Davos, which is World Economic Forum. It says George Soros rips Trump and Z, says fate of the world at stake. I got to find the other one. He talked about the economy too. He basically said in January, before anybody was talking about economy, let's see, bang. He said George Soros warns Trump of potential economic doom before the election. So January 23rd, you have George Soros at Davos, which is the World Economic Forum, telling Trump there's going to be economic doom before the election. They were not predicting any of this stuff. They weren't predicting shutdowns. They told everybody COVID's fine. It's not even transmitting to humans. How did George Soros know the election was going to go down? And then it goes down. I have it somewhere here. I've shown it off a few times, but this is, their plan after. It's called COVID-19, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab. Shout out Lara, who told me about this book. I saw it on Twitter too, and then Lara told me I bought it. It's by the founder of the World Economic Forum. He has a whole map of what they want to do. They call it the Great Reset. So you have people that hate Trump saying your economy is going to go down. This was the year of the coup, guys. I don't care what they say. They couldn't get him out with the Ukraine impeachment. They couldn't get him out with the Russia stuff. His economy was so good. They said it's going down. We're not going to tell you how, but it's going down. I'm not saying they did this particularly. I'm watching myself for legality of it, but you get what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff happens. It's not a coincidence. And then you have riots. Have you ever seen a riot like that? Protests turn to riots. All the media is trying to say it's peaceful protests. You have Seth Rogen giving them money. You have Steve Carell, that moron. I like his movies, but now I don't like him. He's giving them, they're bailing people out of jail. They're saying we're bailing protesters out of jail. Guess what? Protesters don't go to jail. They're bailing criminals out of jail. You could protest. If you smash a window, you're not a protester. You're a domestic terrorist. If you smash a window, block traffic, harass cars, for a political or social reason, by definition, you're a terrorist. If you're doing it in your right wing, you're a right-wing terrorist. If you're doing it in your left wing, you're a left-wing terrorist. They were bailing out terrorists in the United States of America to commit more terrorism. They're burning down Santa Monica. They're burning down West Hollywood. They're burning down downtown LA. They're destroying and setting fires to police precincts and federal buildings. Who does that? That's a terrorist attack. They're doing the same thing in America that they did in Libya and Syria. And it's the celebrities and it's Democrat people and this side of the political aisle and people like Mitt Romney, he's marching with them. This is not, they just use the name Black Lives Matter because it's a great name. I mean, how could you disagree with that, right? Black Lives Matter. You're a dick if you don't like it. It's a genius, evil genius branding name. If you hate Black Lives Matter, you hate black people. You think black lives don't matter? All lives don't matter until black lives don't matter. It was founded by trained Marxists. It was founded by, what's her name? Patrisse Cullors and this other woman, lesbian women, who said that they were trained by Eric Mann. Look that up. Look, Eric Mann from the Weather Underground, who was a terrorist organization back in the day. And he has an interview and he says, he talks about how he trained them. And he's like, my mom told me when I was growing up, there's goyim, which means non-Jew. He's a Jewish guy. He said, there's goyim and all the goyim are trying to kill us. So, we got to attack them before they do that. So he's like a madman. He's like, everybody's trying to kill me. So we got to kill them first. He didn't say we got to kill them, but you get what I'm saying. He's like, everybody's coming for us. So we got to come for them first. This is who Black Lives Matter got trained by, a Marxist, guys. Karl Marx is the founder of communism. It's a communist movement. What do the communists want to do? They want to revolt. They want to take away private property. Why are they destroying private property? Because they're taking away your private property. It's not yours. You don't own it. You're done. It doesn't matter if Biden or Trump wins. This is what they're doing. It's a communist revolution. And I had a debate. I had a Penthouse interview, not naked. I'm just going to be in there fully clothed. But I had an interview with a left-wing guy, and he's like, well, the Communist Manifesto, it's for the working people. I said, brother, you're barking up the wrong tree, unfortunately, because I'm not just another moron who just talks about communism. I'm not saying you have to be a moron if you talk about it, but most people haven't read the Communist Manifesto. I've read it. It's not for the working person. I didn't know this until I read it. Karl Marx wants to destroy private property, eliminate private property. So no private property. Apparently they just can't build in middle America where there's all space. They got to take away. You're black. You own a business. It's not yours anymore. You're black. You bought a house. Not your mom owns a house. Your grandma owns a house. You don't own a house anymore. You don't have private property under Karl Marx. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. So no private property. They control all communication. They control all transport. They control all the media. This is in the book. This is not my theory. He writes, this is what I want. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, bro, this is slavery. This is like, I get this. 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 You don't get private property. You can't hide. and then I'm going to just give it to the workers. And this is such an obvious slavery scheme by Karl Marx, who thinks the same way that Eric Mann thinks from the Weather Underground. He's going on. This is all connected, guys. This is a communist revolution in this country, not to give you a bunch of stuff, to enslave you. And when I talk about slavery, when it comes to masks and quarantining and operating like a prisoner in your own business, I'm not joking. Who opposes all this stuff? Who opposes the mask mandates? Who opposes the lockdowns the most? It's Republicans. Who has adapted this as their new politics? They said, masks are my life, lockdowns are my life, whatever you want to do. I have, freedom is overrated. We need to. It's left. Why is the left? Because the communism comes up the left wing. So they've duped the left wing into thinking that communism is science. Equity is equality. They just use these words that sound good. Everybody needs to eat. Yeah, you're rich, I'm poor. Like, that's not fair. Of course, I didn't have your money, so I can't get where you're at. So part of it's true, but they just say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. And you're like, wait, this doesn't make sense. So you're going to take away the First Amendment. I don't have freedom of speech. You have all the communication. You have all the transportation. You have all the private property. You have the media. They want a central bank. It's a quote. I'm going to look it up before I miss it. I've told it a few times, but it's very important. If you ever hear Marxist, sometimes they say Marxist Leninist, because Karl Marx was the founder of communism, but Vladimir Lenin was right behind him. I believe he was the founder of the Communist Party based on Karl Marx's stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a Lenin quote. He said, the establishment of a central bank is 90% of communizing a nation. So he's telling you, if you get a central bank, if your country gets a central bank, which almost every country has a central bank now, and the ones that don't get war, hey, you don't have a central bank, guess what? You do now, you're dead. But America's had a central bank, I think, since 1918. The establishment of a central bank is 90% of communizing a nation. So once we got a central bank, we're essentially communists. He knew this. Why? If you control the money, everything else is going to be yours. Think about it. You're the worker, you're the boss, you make the pizza, you get the soda machine, you do the garlic knots, and I'll control the money. Okay. I'll take the cash register. Okay. All the money's mine. It's not hard to figure out where that goes. You control the money, you control everything else. How come you can't say it? That's hate speech, guys. How come they control the media and they control the banking? Is that anti-Semitic hate? No, it's common sense. You get the banks, it's not hard to get everything else. And I'm not saying everyone's in on it. I'm just saying there's a reason that you see certain trends in media ownership and banking. It's because once you get the banks, the rest is not that hard to get. You have the money. You have the paper currency that everybody buys things with. So, when COVID happens, who prints out the money? So the Federal Reserve and the central bank. Now we have trillions of dollars. You get the money, the rest is yours. So now you have a system that's closing in on you where they have banking. Someone said, I like garlic knots. Good. Yeah, they're delicious. But they have all of the banking. They have most of the media. They have most of the communication with Facebook, YouTube, and you can see certain trends in there too that they don't want you to notice. But anyway, they have almost everything. And then these communists, these leftists, these progressives, these idiots, like, no offense, the people who are like, oh, communism is for us, because they have everything. So there's a reason. How come, even though Marxist communist organization of Black Lives Matter, it's a Marxist movement, how everyone says, well, communism's anti-corporation. We're anti-business. We're anti-government, anti-business. We're for the workers. How come Amazon supports it then, Anomaly? You don't know what you're talking about. We're for the workers. And why would Amazon support it? Because your whole theory of how communism works is a lie. Communism is slavery. Communism is the 1% stealing all the power. Once you give them the bank, once you give them the media, you're done, bro. And they have the bank and they have the media and they have social media. They have almost everything, and everything they don't have, they're coming to take it. And they're treating you like a slave this year because that's what they do. They either kill you or treat you like a slave. So the communism was never a threat to Amazon. Amazon will be fine. You won't be fine. Amazon will be part of the 1% who owns everything. You think they're going to get rid of Amazon? No. Why does Facebook support Black Lives Matter? Are they going to get rid of Facebook? No. Facebook's part of the media. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they don't care. You think someone's going to take Twitter? No, they don't care. They're part of we own all the media. Do you notice what happens during the election? Twitter says the same thing that Facebook says. They're different corporations, but they say the exact same thing. Instagram says the same thing Facebook says because Facebook owns Instagram. Google says something, then YouTube says what Google says because Google owns YouTube. You have 3 corporations that own almost everything in social media, and they all say the same thing because they're all in on it. So it's not how come they said the election? They're all saying they're all in on it, folks. Communism is not a threat to them. So this is a coup. This whole year has been, and they tried the last few years, and they weren't successful. So they threw the whole kit and caboodle out, shut the economy down, which is, I mean, you can look up Yuri Bezmenov. It's a fantastic video. He's a communist defector from Russia. He said 30, 40 years ago, he said, there's 4 things that they need. Economics, there's 4 things that the communists know. If we can control this or shut this down, it's game over. All of it's happening this year. Destabilization, demoralization. They've done it, and now they're going for the big spots. Economy's huge. That's why they took it out. Protests turn into riots. That's why they're doing it. An election where they win either way. Let's see what's happening. It's not working, though. That's the thing. It's crazy. Let's see. States. Let's see what's happening in Arizona. Georgia's getting really tight, I'm sure. This is insane. Let's see. 2 more. Wild stuff, guys. I mean, it's not over. I'm just trying to tell you what they're trying to do. I don't think they'll get away with it. And even if they do, things always change. Russia was super communist, not so much anymore. Europe was super communist, not much, but they're kind of heading towards it again. But we'll be fine. I'm just giving y'all a breakdown of what I know. Someone said, "What do we do, brother?" I mean, America's unique in a sense of like we have the First Amendment, sort of, not really, but kind of enough to do this. I mean, in other countries, this is not even possible. And you have the Second Amendment. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to get to that point, but America's not necessarily the easiest place to conquer. So that's why in this country, there's a lot of, and all over the world, but especially in this country, a lot of psychological warfare. I mean, this year they convinced people to wear masks, walk around like, they're in a medical prison, and shut their own country down. So, I mean, this is how you would do it in America. Like, you can't just physically conquer America. Everybody has guns, and it would be too sloppy. So psychological warfare is what they're doing. What's the solution? I mean, pretty much what we're trying to do here, and everybody's trying to do, wake people up. It's the old saying, I'm woke, wake up, like wake up. That's what everyone says. But it's like people need, if enough people break out of the mind control, if enough people stop being controlled by these people, they can't do it because they rely on you. And that's why I say, even with Trump and stuff, I understand that a lot of people know what's going on, but you don't want to be brainwashed on the left and you don't want to be brainwashed on the right. You want to be able to entertain new ideas, look at the common sense, look at the logic, and make a calculated opinion. You don't want to be brainwashed on the right. And I feel like a lot of people they know a lot. Maybe they're well off more than the average liberal at this point, but they think things are getting done that aren't getting done. So they become almost like in a state of like someone else is going to do it, where the truth is like, maybe, but at the same time, there's still work to be done. And I know everybody contributes in their own way, but I think it's got to get to a point where there's so many people that don't play along that, their plot fails. And I think the next 4 years are crucial. And I think we have all the good energy. I think we're set to wake a lot of people up. 30, 40, 50 years ago, it was the Christian conservatives who were shutting everybody down. And it was liberals like, George Carlin, who were like making edgy jokes and saying like woke things about the government. That was coming from the left wing. Now it's almost primarily come from the right wing. I would say after Obama, the deep state and the intel communities and the media have brainwashed the left wing so much. They're the party of like shilling for like FBI directors. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It went from like George Carlin being like, it's one big club and you ain't in it. That's what Trump is. George Carlin was a liberal. He said, there's one big club, you ain't in it. Trump is not in the club. He's kind of in the club enough to get there, but not enough for them to like him. Now it's like, we love the FBI. We love the CIA. Anybody who talks bad about them is a bad person. They never made a mistake ever. Mitt Romney's great. George Bush is better. I love Ellen DeGeneres. We should start more wars. Don't get along with North Korea. He's a dictator. Trump killed people with COVID. It's like mass brainwashing. So I think, that's not going to age well. Appreciate this moment because we're in a special time. We're in like the pinnacle of civilization right now, but it's like, they're trying to close everything up because with freedom, they can't win. They're not going to win in a fair thing. So they're rigging the election. They're rigging social media. They're rigging the media. They're rigging the playing field. They're rigging sports. They're rigging entertainment. and they're still losing, and they're rigging race. So it's like they're cheating, they're lying, we're telling the truth, we're somehow still almost winning. It's like 50-50, neck and neck. It's like a horse race where they're both who's going to get out ahead. And so that's the race. It's like, will they close everything up? Everyone's like, what do we do? Well, it's like, if they close everything up, then it's kind of a wrap, at least for like 20 years or so. And if they don't, then, or at least until people do something about it. And if they don't, we just blast through them. If we can get past like, that certain part where it's like, okay, we have too many people, they can't do what they're doing, it's over. So I think with the next 4 years, as long as they don't cut up social media too much, we have all the energy. We're being fun. We're being open-minded. We're saying the things. We're like the liberals of 1980, where we're like talking about the government. We're like doing, and they're doing nothing. They're not funny. They get mad at jokes. Everything's racist. Like Louis C.K. or something. Maybe he's a bad example because of his troubles. But it's like that was like liberal. It's like I'm saying all this crazy stuff, and you're like, whoa, that's edgy. I like it. Now it's like conservatives who support you when you say crazy stuff, and liberals throw you to the curb. Like, if you don't think exactly how the television wants you to think, you're a bad person. That's not fun. That's not vibey. That's not going to win. That's not winning on social media. They're rigging social media and they're still losing. So I don't see that working out for them. It's like, will they control communication like communists, or will we break through? We're in the peak of civilization, folks. Don't get scared. Don't get upset. Embrace it. It's a beautiful. I had a good day. You know why? Because I knew Trump didn't lose. If it was over, they want to call this election for Joe Biden. If they could call it for Joe Biden, they would have called it last night. They would have called it now. They can't call it for Joe Biden. What does that tell you, folks? We're in the peak of civilization, and it's a basketball game that's just going back and forth. It's like he scores 4 touchdowns. You can't win. He scores 4 touchdowns. They add more time on the clock. You're like, we're up 24 points with 2 minutes left in a football game. It's not even possible to win. They're like, oh my God, Donna Brazil, or like Hillary Clinton came with a new clock. They're like, oh my God, it's the second quarter. You're like, it's the second quarter. It's 2 minutes left in the Super. You're like, no, it's the second quarter now. We found more time. We found more votes. We found more time. So it's like, it's back and forth, and we're in the peak of it, and it's still not over. Someone said, it's called an oligarchy, you dumb F. I'm not going to say this is disposable. It's called an oligarchy. You could call it what you want, bro. I don't know. I don't even know what you're referring to. You're like, I ain't used the word oligarchy, so you should use the word oligarchy. It's like, use the word oligarchy. No one stopped you. Some people say neoliberals, neoconservatives, the oligarchy, the technocracy, the deep state. Say whatever you want, bro. Knock yourself out. You're like, I'm mad you didn't use the word oligarchy, and that's what me and my left-wing friends like to say. Yo, enjoy the show, my brother. You're here. You know it's better than other stuff you watch. You probably don't like me, but you want to tune in because you know it's real. You're mad because I just say the word oligarchy, bro. Get over yourself. Come on. Stop playing. All right. It's like, oh, he didn't say oligarchy. You say oligarchy, and then you can add discussion, you weirdo. All right. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. They're about to count more votes in Arizona. I'm trying to keep up on it. Let's see. Someone said Trump already won. I mean, it's not over yet, but it's interesting. Someone said we're at 58% Trump and AZ. What? No. Is that true? Let me see. Arizona election. Let's see. Arizona election. Where are we at? Results. They have Joe Biden as the winner, but Trump is pulling closer. Let's see. 88% reported. Trump's within 69,000 votes. This is crazy. It's not over, and they're calling it for Joe Biden. There's like 4 states for Trump over. They're not calling it. They want to cheat, but they still can't cheat. It's so funny. They're going to lose. It's okay. I'm not even worried. I mean, if I hope they have a way. I don't want to cheat. I don't want dictator Trump, although I'm not going to lie. I would appreciate dictator Barron Trump. Don't call me a fascist, but by the time Barron Trump is like 30 years old, 35 years old, he'll be 10, 15 foot tall. He grows a foot every year. And at that point, we stick him in a cyborg. We stick him in a Jeff Bezos robot, and Barron Trump reigns supreme over America for 100 years. But until then, I don't want a dictator. I want a fair election. And I don't care if it's by, I want the votes counted. I'm going to say a prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, please give us a fair election. Whichever way it goes, for Trump or for Biden. I don't want to cheat. I don't want a dictator. I want a fair election, Lord Jesus. Thank you. Amen. Let's get a fair election, because I'm confident if they could count the votes properly. There's a lot of sneakery going on. Oh my God. Hold on, guys. I found a ballot box. Oh my God, it's got 23,000 votes, all for Biden. What's the chances of finding 100% votes? There are none. Okay, let me see. Election alert, Maricopa update. Trump gains 35. Biden gains 25. Trump's within 60, 70,000. I don't know if that's enough though. Let's see. Let's see what election betting odds the website is doing. I mean, it's not official, but I just want to see what they're on. They got Trump down to 13%. Oh my God, they got Biden at 80. I mean, they don't know how the courts work. We'll see what happens. What's going on in Georgia? Are they cheating Georgia? Hold on, I'm giving you up-to-date results. Georgia results. Let's see. Georgia results. Where are we at? Trump is up 23,000 with it's like 99.9%. Oh my goodness. Trump now trails Biden by 69,000 votes. CNN says Trump is on pace to potentially narrowly win the state. Either way, Fox and AP called AZ way too early. I mean, Trump is on a path. I think if he gets the amount of votes he's been getting, he can narrowly beat Biden. And if he wins Pennsylvania, he wins the election. Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia, he wins the election without going to courts. That's crazy. He has a path to victory. If Biden could, he would say he won already. Trump could still win without recounts and court. It's not over. He wins Arizona and Pennsylvania, and he keeps Georgia and North Carolina like he's slated to. That's huge. They're going to cheat in Pennsylvania. I don't think they could figure out how to cheat. They're like, we have 500,000 votes left. Oh, we have 1.5 million votes. I'm like, yo, get Giuliani there, okay? Get Giuliani with 2 samurai swords, okay? I want Rudy Giuliani. I've seen him in person. He's not as big as he looks. But anyway, 2 samurai swords coming out the back. Not for voter suppression, just for, defense. I don't know. Someone said oligarchy. Now it's a joke. Everyone's saying oligarchy. It's like, we get it, bro. It's so funny. Like, I'll say stuff sometimes, and then some progressives will come in because, the communists love anomaly. Even though they're communists, they still like I go to the Women's March. I don't get attacked. I see communist women. They're like, anomaly. They're like, we love your channel. It says socialists on their shirt. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a big hit with the socialists. They come here, they love it. It's just, they get a little weird sometimes because it's they know they don't hate me. They're having a blast. Everyone is. But anyway, they come in and they're like, say neoliberals. It's like, I'm not Jimmy Dore. I'll say neoliberals sometimes to please you, but I'm not just going to blame neoliberals and sometimes I say deep state. Sometimes I say, and it's like, say oligarchy. It's like, don't bring your little commie vibes here. Keep the commie vibes at the door. You can have fun too, but it's like, socialist for Trump, communist for Trump, socialist for anomaly, communist for anomaly. We get a lot of love here, but they get weird sometimes. They want to hear certain words. They're like, talking about Karl Marx. Karl Marx was misunderstood. I went to Halloween in my senior year of high school as Karl Marx, and everybody loved it. I had a Che Guevara shirt on. It's like, we get it. It's fine. Oligarchy, exactly. How we doing? Let's see, where are we at? Maricopa County, final update for the evening, 57% for Trump, 40% for Biden, total counts, net gain of 10,000. Trump is still in line for what he needs to catch up. He's right on pace to win. Literally, if he can get 58% or so for the next votes in Arizona, he wins Arizona. This is crazy. If he wins Arizona, he wins Pennsylvania. Let's go. Come on now. No more cheating. You cheated enough. It's okay. All right, let's see. Michael Larson said they showed up to AZ ballots saying we don't want a small group of people in control. They said it's an oligarchy. LMAO started. Calm down with the oligarchy, bro. I hear you though. All right. Where are you seeing this? I got my sources. It's on. I follow on I look at all of them, Google, New York Times, and such. But I'm on Twitter, and I'm watching certain things on there. I'm watching certain people's opinions. But I'm telling you, it's looking good because even left wing people like Rachel Maddow, they're like, he has a path in Arizona, and she's like, ugh. You have Cenk Uyghur's freaking out, which is always a good time. He's always pooping his pants, freaking out. You have even Nate Silver and Nate Cohen are saying Trump has It's looking possible. It's looking possible. It's even the odds are not like crazy. It's not like he could squeak it out as far as the odds in the individual states. But the odds don't really mean anything because they were 80-20, 28. They don't know what they're doing because like this election's not fair. So the odds people are freaking out. They're Trump's about to win. Wait, no, Biden's about to win. Wait, no, they don't know what's happening. It's like just take the bets off. It's not you're gonna lose money. Let's see, Michigan. Yeah, I'm going to check it. The Michigan one, interesting, because they called it for Biden, but if you look at the Michigan websites, it's not. Let me see. Where's the Michigan? Yeah, here it is. It's the election board. I'm going to go to the general election results. This one is very interesting. So, ready? On the Michigan has been called for Joe Biden, which is crazy because Michigan and Wisconsin were just killing it for Trump before last night. But anyway, I get it. They got more votes. Michigan on the website, the official Michigan election website, has Trump up 4 points with only 2 counties to count. How would New York Times know the score before the actual people counting the votes? This makes no sense. And they're updating every 10 minutes. So someone would say, well, they didn't update their website. No, they're updating every 10 minutes. So they have Trump up 4, and New York Times called it. And I want to read real quick. This is a real New York Times post yesterday. They tried to say, we determine the election, not you, not the people counting. We're the election counters. All right, ready? Here it is. They said, the role of declaring the winner of a presidential election in the U.S. falls to the news media. I'm going to read that again. New York Times. The role of declaring the winner of a presidential election in the U.S. falls to the news media. The broadcast networks and cable news outlets have vowed to be prudent. Here's how it'll work. And then you have Fox News calling things that Trump didn't lose. So they had to retract that because everyone's like, what are you talking? The news media decides who wins the election? They actually tweeted it and then retracted it yesterday because it's so obviously not how it works. And now today they're calling Michigan for Trump, and the official Michigan website, which updates every 10 minutes, has Trump up 4 with 2 counties. How could they possibly have more data than Michigan has? This makes absolutely no. They're so blatant about it. I mean, they have such a scheme where they're like, we're just going to add 100 ballots in 100% of the vote. Imagine if there's a county in Arizona. Oh my God, we just found 100. If Trump got 100% of the vote, it would be over. He'd win in Arizona. They're doing stuff like this and still almost losing in Pennsylvania. This is crazy. I mean, this makes zero sense, but they don't have to make sense. They're like, we'll count for 2 weeks. We decide, not you. This is crazy stuff, guys. We're in the pinnacle of humanity. Human civilization. No, I'm just kidding. That's my poor Alex Jones impression, but my throat hurts. Let's see. Someone said New York protesting for recount. Yeah, New York is probably a lost cause, but you could try. How did New York do? Let me see. Let's look at New York. Let's see. New York. I mean, New York results. Trump did not do that bad in New York for sure. He is 43% to Biden's 55%. That's not bad, and it's still counting. I mean, yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I don't understand how this stuff works. It's like the second California goes offline, it's like California, and you're like, wait, Trump already won or Biden? How do they know the second the polls close in California, but it takes a week somewhere else? Is it that big of a landslide? Possibly, but I don't understand. Someone said I'm falling asleep. Wake up, Haley. We just started. What time is it? 12 o'clock? We're going to be here for at least 12 more hours. No, I'm just kidding. I'm probably going to be here for 30 more minutes. What about Chicago? Yeah, I'm not sure. Someone said Arizona's coming back. Yeah, I saw. Let's see. Let's see what we're talking about. We got Instagram. I got 834 people on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for being here. And on YouTube, we got 2,400 people. Thank you guys for being here. So we got a total of over 3,000 people. Appreciate y'all. And I usually do Facebook's my biggest platform. If I was on Facebook, I'd probably have 6,000, 7,000. So I told Facebook to go on YouTube though. I don't know. I was just like, let's switch it up. Let's go Instagram, YouTube. Maybe tomorrow we'll go Facebook, YouTube. I don't know. Let's see. Where can I check these? Well, Well, that's the thing. You could check them anywhere, but everybody has different counts. I've never seen anything like it. Some people are at 99, 98. They're different from the actual ballot website. So you could just search, you could Google New York election results and see the ones on Google. That's really the best way to do it. And then you could go to Twitter or one of these social medias and try to like get people's takes on it, find a trusted source of some sort. But it's really difficult. That's the problem. Most of the media is controlled by the same people, and they're not as honest as people think. So it's like we're the trusted news. I used to think Associated Press was like really good. Like you see an AP, you're like AP breaks stories. They're like TMZ of not TMZ. It's like they know the story before. They're like Michael Jackson's dead. You're like, how'd you know that? But AP is so biased. It's insane. Like AP is far left. And I'm not talking like, oh my God, they love Bernie Sanders. I'm talking like they're like weighing in on this thing. They're like, we can't say this because there's too many genders and the racial undertone. Like the AP's tweeting like, we're going to capitalize the B in black, but not the W in white. And they do this 5-part take on like why the B in black needs to be capital. I'm like, bro, you're supposed to break the stories. You're supposed to be like trusted, credible news. They're run by a bunch of like 35-year-old cat women or something that have like 15 cats and have a poli-sci degree that they can't use or something. I don't know. I'm like, this is AP, Associated Press. I thought you guys were like the trusted news. They're a bunch of idiots. It's like NPR leftovers go to AP or something. It's like people who applied for Rachel Maddow's job and like couldn't get a job at Vice News or Vox or like Time Magazine or something. They go to like AP. I've never seen anything like it, but they suck. So yeah, all the news are controlled. Someone said AP and Reuters are both propaganda arms now. I got to look at Reuters because I've heard something about the Rothschilds. I don't want to start an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, but let me see what's going on here. I need to see. Yeah, okay, let me see. This is Reuters. Rothschild family announces its intention to, do they own it? Let's see. Is Thomas Reuters the same as, where is it? Who owns Reuters now? Oh, Thomas Reuters Corporation. I don't know. I've heard they have a connection, but I don't want to say it because then they'll say I'm an anti-Semite. I got to get my words straight. Anytime that you talk about the Rothschilds, they just shut it down immediately. They're like, "How dare you?" Let me see. Fact check. Maybe. Okay, they do have some relationship to Reuters. Rothschilds and Co. Advisory by Thomas. They do have some connection to Reuters, but I don't know exactly what. You can't listen. I apologize. Let me just apologize. I apologize for talking about the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds did nothing wrong. Okay, I'm the anti-Semite. I feel ashamed. I'm gonna go on a world apology tour like Nick Cannon. And I'm going to do book reports on anti-Semitism, and I'm going to have to pretend to like Barry Weiss books, even though obviously I probably would hate that book. I'm going to pretend like I like it and go on a world tour, and I'm going to interview rabbis that I don't like, and and then I'll show you how sorry I am for mentioning Lord Rothschild. I mean, how dare me? The Rothschilds never did anything. I mean, I guess their legacy doesn't even exist. Like I thought they were a powerful banking family and they deserve some credit in this world, but apparently they just own a deli. You're racist. I mean, Rothschild just owned a deli store, and that's it. He just makes bagels in New York City. I mean, he's never even touched a bank before. You anti-Semite? No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, it's so funny. It's like anytime you mention George Soros or Rothschilds, they try to act like you're anti-Semitic. You're like, are we supposed to pretend like the Rothschilds have no power? Is that the game we're playing? Like they just own a bagel store? And then with like George Soros, like George Soros's legacy is pretty obvious. Like you could say he's a philanthropist. I could say he's not. But overall, his involvement with currencies, economies, social manipulation all over the world, it's not a theory, it's a fact. But if you bring him up, they're like, you have to like apologize to Barry Weiss and rabbis and stuff for a couple months. I mean, that's what Nick Cannon did, because I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate, but I'm going to speculate. I'm guessing the conversation was something like, correct me if I'm wrong, and Nick Cannon, please don't get mad at me. You admit this is kind of funny. But like, it's like, Nick Cannon, how dare you talk about the Lord Rothschild like that? He never did anything but sold bagels. Apologize, or you're not going to be on The Masked Singer. Remember what we said, and then you just, I'm so sorry. I'm an anti-Semite. I got to read the book. I'll keep keep the blame towards white people. Keep it simple. Jamel Hill, blame white people. Janelle Monáe, F white people, F white women. That stuff is fine. Rothschild, now you're starting to seem a little anti-Semitic. You got to apologize. He never did anything wrong. So we apologize. Anomaly, what's your thoughts on Bevelyn Betty getting stabbed in D.C.? Yeah, I heard that. That's horrible. That's terrible. I love Bevelyn. I've never met her, but, she's got dragon energy. And, I don't know. That's crazy that she got stabbed. I hope she's safe. I hope she's healthy. Someone said, you think Trump's not involved with these people? Trump is definitely involved with these people. I mean, Trump knows everybody. Trump has his connections, but Trump is a finesser. Like, he's got a lot of power. He makes his moves. Trust me, he's got money. He's got funding. He makes moves, but he does more for the American people. He does more for the world than anybody else. I'm not going to sit here and say Trump doesn't know who the Rothschilds are. Of course he does. Trump and the GOP, I don't know Trump specifically, but the GOP gets most of their funding from, I believe, Sheldon Adelson. Sheldon Adelson is a massive, funder. They rub their back. They rub their back, so to speak. So Trump has his connections, but he's done more for America. He's done more for the world. And I think he's the least sold out person. He has his powerful friends, but I don't think he's like, emboldened to them by any means, but you could have your theories. Anomaly, when are you going to the White House? I went to the White House last year. I got invited with the Hispanics, Hispanic Heritage Month. I got to be in the White House. That was quite the thrill. But COVID ruined that this year. I probably would have got invited back this year. I don't know. Maybe I've been talking too much shit online. But from what I know, I think they like it. I think, Latinos for Trump, Hispanics for Trump. Shout out my friends. Shout out Betty at the Republican Republican Hispanic. I don't know. It's the Republican Hispanics. Shout out all of them. Betty, the whole gang. I saw them in Arizona. I think they like me. I like them. So I don't know. I think I would have went back. I think I would have went back this year if it wasn't for COVID-19. They're like, we have a virus. You can't come to the White House. Trump has COVID. So we'll see. Maybe next year if they open the White House up again. Someone said Donald Trump. Yeah, that's how you say it. I, Donald Trump. Yo votar por Donald Trump. Anomaly, the state of Arizona website says they've counted 100%. Yeah, that can't be right. Let's see. I'll look, though. I'm going to Google. Let me see. Hispanics for Trump. Shout out Hispanics for Trump. Republicans for Trump. Shout out Democrats for Trump. But Jorge Ramos needs to get his shit together. Excuse me. Excuse my language. What was I going to say? Oh, Arizona election results. All right, let's see what we're talking about. You said the Arizona website. They already gave it to Biden, but it's not in for him. But Trump is getting closer and closer. Let's see. The elections, Arizona. I'm going there. The general election candidates. General election results. I'm getting there. Hold on, folks. Let's see. Is it really say that? Are you pulling my leg? No, I don't see that. Oh, it does say precincts reporting 100%. Yeah, that's not right though. I mean, they probably have all their precincts reported, but not all the percentages of the precincts. So yeah, it's not done counting, but they're just telling you the precincts are counted, but not all of them from there. Yeah. Someone says, shout out flat earthers for Trump. I can't do that. One, that's going to get me canceled, but also I told everybody who follows me, and I was on Adam Krigler's show, I think, and he was talking about flat earth, or we were talking about it. You got to change. I'm saying you can't, Anomaly's not on board unless you change the name to Dome. Flat earth is bad branding. It's like the earth's flat, man. It's like, no, go Dome. Call yourself Domers. Dome Earther, that's my branding. That's my consulting branding advice. Change it to Dome Earth. It sounds cooler. And if you say it's a dome, people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Conspiracy theories. Whoa, whoa, wait. Did you say it's a dome? And then you say, I'm not saying it's a dome. I'm just saying, like, think about a snow globe. You get what I'm saying? Like a dome. And then they're like, listen, that's cool. Wait a second. But if you just say flat earth, you're like, like the earth is flat. The earth is flat. It's flat. It's flat. And people are like, it's not flat, bro. It's three-dimensional. So flat Earth, it is what it is. You guys got a lot of, the flat, shout out the flat earthers. Flat earthers for Trump. That's fine. Shout you guys out. I respect you. I don't call you crazy. I don't say I let you guys, but I'm telling you, you go dome earth for Trump, people start saying, okay, I'm listening. I'm not a dome earther, but I'm not a globe earther. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this to sit on the fence. People say, oh, you're just saying that. No, I seriously, I'm listening to the Globers, the Neil deGrasse Tyson, the Globe Earthers. You got Neil deGrasse Tyson, Shill Nye, the Democratic Party spy guy. You got, did I say Neil deGrasse fed Bison Tyson? I always forget his name. Sometimes I say it wrong. Neil deGrasse fed Bison Tyson, Shill Nye, the Democratic Party spy guy. You got your Globe Earthers, and they're not very impressive to me. And then you got your dome earthers, and they're starting to say some stuff. I'm like, when's the last time they went to the moon? And then you're like, Van Allen radiation belt, Elon Musk, I'm listening. Sending women to the moon, obviously that's a lie. I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying? I'm in the fence. I'm not impressed by the globe earthers. The dome earthers are talking something. Nobody wants to hear it. So shout out the dome earthers for Trump. I'm willing. I think Adam said he'd have me on for a dome earth debate. I need to get my stuff straight though, because I don't know that much, but I think it's a fascinating conversation. I'm not going to shut you down. So dome, change it to dome. Someone said, I like Trump is a dope song. Thank you. Appreciate it. Someone said Amazon woman on the moon. The more they talk, the dumber it sounds. NASA is the funniest organization. I love shout out my man on Instagram. His name is Mountain Bear. I think I don't know if he works with Owen Benjamin, but I know his name is Mountain Bear. I think he does. I don't know if they work directly, but he does like animations with Owen. They're really funny. But Mountain Bear is always posting really funny stuff about like the moon. Like NASA is the funniest organization on the planet. Like literally, like the headlines are like, NASA says women are going to Mars in 2080. You're like, dude, they just like make up stuff. They're like, you like shake a thing and they're like, women on Pluto. You're like, yeah, like transgenders on Venus. You're like, I'm sure. And then they're like, we found the footage. Like for a while, they said the original footage of the moon landing, they said it was destroyed. Like, would you destroy like the greatest footage in human civilization? You're just going to destroy it? They're like, no. They taped over it. Like it's just an episode of like Franklin or something, like you're just like, let's get Ghostbusters on here. You taped over the moon landing? You didn't have that in a box? I'm not even that neat. Like I've been traveling so much, so my place is a mess. I know exactly where all my stuff is. If I had a moon landing tape, are you kidding me? I'd probably have an armed guard and a safe. You taped over the moon landing footage, and then they changed. They're like, NASA says that the moon landing footage was found at a garage sale. I'm not joking, guys. This is what's pushing me towards the dome. Don't blame me, blame NASA. Hold on. Let me see. Moon footage garage sale. Ready? I'm going to bring up the two articles. This is the funniest crap ever. All right. This one's CNN. You guys think I'm joking. This is the best stuff. Shout out the domes. Dome boys and dome girls. Shout them out. All right, let me see. NASA taped over. Yo, I'm so okay. Ready? Oh, this is so good. Ready? These are different headlines. Ready? This is CNN from 2019. It says NASA sold moon landing footage to an intern for $218. Now the tapes could sell for millions. Bro, they want you to believe that NASA sold the moon landing footage, the original moon landing footage, to an intern for $218. Does anybody believe that? Hey, I work here for free. You're like, hey, what are you doing? You're like, I don't know. I'm just shadowing Buzz Aldrin while he gets wasted and punches people. They're like, hey, can I have the moon landing footage? You're like, it's kind of important, man. It's only like the most important footage in modern history. I mean, it's pretty big deal, dude. It's like the most popular, rich or like what, like I don't know. Can I get that? You're like, no, it's kind of the biggest VHS on the planet, man. It would sell for millions of dollars. It's kind of like the greatest achievement in modern history. Well, I have $218. Okay, sold. You can have the footage for $218. This is fucking unbelievable. So that's a CNN. I'm reading again. NASA sold moon landing footage to an intern for $218. Now the tapes could sell for millions. As if they're shocked that the greatest achievement in modern history, they sold it for $218, and they're blown away that it's worth more. No shit. I'm surprised it's not worth $20 million. It's the greatest thing ever. All right, and this is Reuters. Moon landing tapes got erased, NASA admits. So this was in 2009. The original recordings of the first human landing on the moon 40 years ago were erased and reused. They erased the original moon landing footage and then reused it. And then 10 years later, they said they sold it to an intern for $218, bro. NASA is the best comedy group in America. Like, am I not supposed to think that's funny? Am I supposed to just pretend like that's totally believable? You're like, they sold it for $218, but they erased it. Guys, this is so obviously funny. I mean, this is so here, I'm gonna play this real quick. Good. All right. You think I'm crazy. You think the Domers are crazier. Shout out Dome Boys and Dome Girls, the Dome Earthers. Shout y'all out. Google CNN or Google NASA moon landing footage. You'll find this stuff. It's hilarious. All right. This is CNN. Listen, guys. They're admitting that Trump can win Arizona. Let's see. Ready? Can you hear it? Listen.
I believe he won that margin, that batch by about 18 percentage points. So that puts him there. That puts him there in that batch. If that continued, which we obviously don't know if it would, but if it continued in that pace, he would be on the track.
So if the president continues to perform the way he is right now with each batch, he would meet and beat Biden's lead. At least me.
Wow. Shout out Fox News. Y'all suck, Fox News. That's why I need my own TV show. I'm working on it. Literally. Not on Fox News, fake Fox News, but on a better news network. Fox News called Arizona for Joe Biden yesterday. They're like, I ain't taking my models. Your models suck. Whoever you are on Fox, I work for the Democratic Party. Your models suck. You suck. But this is CNN admitting that Trump is on pace to win Arizona. He wins Arizona. He wins Pennsylvania. He keeps Georgia. He keeps North Carolina. He wins the election, folks, and we don't need to recount. We should recount. We'll unlock the landslide. Someone said Dome Girls for Trump. Dome Girls for Trump, Dome Boys for Trump. We're starting a Dome movement. And I don't want to start this because then it's going to be like, they're going to ruin all my 600 million views. I played at Sturgis. I'm doing live shows in front of 6,000 people. And then my legacy is going to be Anomaly was a dome earther. He believed in the flat earth. It's like, that's why I don't get into these things because that, it's like, no, I did fantastic reporting on this. I did sold out shows. Like, this is my legacy. It's not like dome earth. Like, this is what they do. They don't write about me, which is good because they're demons. But it's like, if they write 20 articles and then that's all you find, and then kids are in history class, they're like, Anomaly was a right-wing fringe conspiracy theorist who believed in the dome, and that's all he did. I mean, he didn't do anything else. He never played shows. He was a loser. No one liked his music. He never did any other reporting. Just all he did was talk about NASA and how, he questioned NASA and made up a conspiracy theory because he didn't believe that NASA sold moon landing footage to an intern for $218, bro. You can't make this shit up. I'm going to read it one more time, and then we're going to move on to more important things. CNN, 2019. NASA sold moon landing footage to an intern for $218. Now the tape could be worth millions. I got to read this article. I lied. We're not moving on. All right, CNN. On July 20th, 1969, NASA put a man on the moon and captured it all on tape. In 1976, the space agency unknowingly sold those tapes of the original footage from their Apollo 11 lunar mission to a lucky intern who held on to them for decades. He never even knew of their contents. Now NASA's blunder will belong to the highest bidder. The 3 surviving tapes of the seminal moment in space exploration are up for auction, starting at $700,000. According to Sotheby's, the tapes are up to $2 million. So they didn't know that was the original moon landing footage because it's not like it's the greatest achievement in modern history on a VHS. And back then, it's not like they had that much to do. It's not like, oh, the moon landing footage is over. Let's take an Instagram selfie. There's no Instagram. There's no Facebook. They're not taking selfies. That's all they have is like VHS, trampolines, moon landing, Buzz Aldrin just getting wasted. You know, the New York Knicks, probably, you know, like Babe Ruth. Like they didn't have that much stuff to do. Like Connect Four, you know, Monopoly, like the original version. And they're trying to convince you like it was above them. They're like, you know, we didn't even know that we had the tape. Like it's not that important to us. Like that's all you had. You didn't even have that much stuff. Like your house could only be filled with so much stuff. You're like, Ma, Pa, I've been saving up pennies. I just bought a microwave, and they're like, oh, Billy, congratulations. We've been eating cold food for years. Thank you for getting one of them microwaves. Like that's how the times were. Like if you had a microwave, you were like the talk of the town. You had like a TV, like a little box that was like 12 inches. You're like the richest person in your neighborhood. And they're acting like they didn't know they had the VHS. Like if you had a VHS, you were probably like middle class. And that we're too good for that. I mean, how much does NASA make a year? Let's look at their budget real quick, folks. NASA budget. NASA's budget's $22 billion, $22.6 billion. So they have $22.6 billion, but apparently they don't have enough money or common sense to keep on to the greatest tape in human civilization of the most amazing feat that was possibly ever done by humanity, ever, if it's true. The most amazing thing a human's ever done, ever. You can keep your eyes on the tape when half the country didn't even own a microwave. These people are so full of shit. It's insane. They're such like literally. They're like, let's look up like the women thing. Like, you know, like women move. Like they think like this is how. No offense, but like the left wing and a lot of boomers are really like they're like, well, it's got to be real if the women are going like suits. Like, let me see. Why? Oh yeah, this is a great one. The Verge. Oh my God, this is so much better than the election. The Verge. Why spacesuit design choices for women's physiques delayed the first all-female spacewalk. So women can't do anything, right? They can't even go to the moon, right? They had to delay the moonwalk. This is what they're telling you. The women were delayed to walk on the moon. We couldn't get it done in time because they're divas or something. I don't know. They needed a delay in the women's physiques. They didn't have the right spacesuits for women, so they had to go make new spacesuits. It's like what is this? Like is a fashion show? It's Fashion Week in Paris or something? It's like you didn't know that before you set the timeline. Like you just realized women have a different physique. They're like, we didn't even think about it for 15 years planning this, and you know, right before the launch, we were like, wait, women have boobs. Wait, that's not gonna fit. And then they're like, all right, let's delay the female moonwalk. We're gonna have to make different suits. Like, you have how much they make? $22 billion a year. You can't figure this shit out. They're such liars. It's insane. Someone said cube Earth for Trump. You talking about cube Earth? I've never heard that one. We got dome Earth, flat Earth, cube Earth. Shout out to my cube Earthers. Is it a cube? Whoa. You see what I'm saying? Square. Cube Earth. Could be. Probably not, but you could. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not one of these people. Oh, I'm so much better than you because I believe in the globe. That's what these people are. I have a poli-sci degree, and I've spun a globe since I was 5 years old. You moron! I'm a glober. You're a cube earther. See, I'm not going to treat people like that. I don't care how right I think I am. That's the globers. They're too cocky for me. They're like, I've been spinning around a globe since 1989. I was born. The first thing I got was a bunch of space things over my head. So my parents brainwashed me into believing the moon landing, and I had a globe right by my desk lamp, and I spun that globe every day, and I looked up at the moon, and I wanted to be an astronaut. And I know that you're dumb because you believe in the cube Earth. I don't operate like that. Cube Earthers are welcome. Cube Earth won't work because it's a hard thing to say. Cube Earth. It's like Q birth. Then QAnoners are going to be like Q, trust the plan. Q birth. It's the birth of Q. Cube Earth. Cube. It's not going to work. It's going to confuse Q people. Q people are going to get pissed at you. They're going to be like Q birth, and then they're going to freak out because the Q's already been alive. He's been alive for 59 years. JFK Jr. He's been there. He's not being rebirthed. And you're like, no. cube Earth. I'm talking about the cube. They're like, he doesn't need to be born. He was born. He never died. He's been alive, and he's been here the whole time. And he has secret intel. John Podesta, Easter, Chrissy Teigen. It's all going down. That's why there's the lockdowns. They're all locked down. Ellen, Tom Hanks are already in Guantanamo Bay. It already happened. You're like, no. Cube Earth. Cube Earth. Oh, I thought you said cube Earth. So you can't do cube Earth because it's going to confuse the QAnoners. But once again, cube Earth, dome Earth, flat Earth. I have no problem with anybody. Actually, to be honest, I respect the globe Earthers the least. I'll say it because they're like, they're too cocky. You know, they're like, I control science. You're like, prove it. And they're like, well, you know, the moonlet, the Van Allen radiation. But then they're just like, you idiot. And they just freak out at you. I'm like, listen, you're starting to sound a lot like Neil deGrasse fed Bison Tyson and Shill and I, the Democratic Party spy guy. And I'm not fans. All right, let's see where we're at. Where are we at? John James. They're trying to cheat John James out too. Come on, my man. That's racist. Let's see where we're at. I mean, nothing going on my Twitter. I got a good Twitter feed. I got some people. Let's see. Trump is up by 30K votes in Arizona. No, that's not right. That dude's just bullshit. See, like, that's the problem. That's why people call him. It's like some people are like, Trump's up 50,000 votes, and like he's not up. He has a path, but like some people just make shit up. Whatever. So it said Burgess Owens got cheated. Yeah, I wanted him to win. To be honest, I wanted all the Republicans to win, but that's fine. Someone said cube Earth oligarchy. Yeah, let's not go there, but you can. Let's see. Watermark explanation, please. I don't know what that means. All right, let's see. Someone said demons living in a hollow earth. That's deep, my man. I'm not ruling anything out. I don't shame people for their opinions, but certain things I'm like, guys, come on, get it together. But not, I mean, the hollow earth thing, listen, not going to hear opposition from me. Let me see. Birdie Cracker said fake Jesus. Well, all right. Well, what are you mad at? What are you mad at? All right. He's saying fake Jesus. All right. Birdie Cracker. What are you mad at? First of all, that's a hilarious name. Birdie Cracker. What part hurt you? You quit. All right. No, I hear you. I'm giving you attention. There's like 3,000 people here. The spotlight's on you. Let me know. Yeah, he said, now you listen. Dude, this is the funniest thing. I'm somebody who actually interacts with people who talk, but there's 3,000 people. I'm on Instagram and there's 2,000 people on YouTube, and you think it's all about you. It's like the people who are mad at me. It's like, what are you mad at? You're like, oh, now you listen. It's like, bro, the comments are just flying on Instagram. They're flying on YouTube. Like, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't stop my whole thing and just look for your thing, Birdie Cracker, but now I did, and the spotlight's on you, and I'm trying to figure out what you want. What are you mad at? You said fake Jesus. I thought it was funny. Your name's Birdie Cracker. It's hilarious. So like, what are you mad at? I'm just curious. I'm just literally curious. Like what part you don't like about me? I'm not even mad. Someone said, where Don Runoff, I know you're busy. Where's the faith? The faith about what? What are you talking about? My faith has not wavered this entire time. Why the stress? Bro, no one's stressed here. What are you talking? We've been laughing about NASA for 30 minutes and you're acting like I'm freaking out. Bro, what are you talking about? I mean, like laughing at like NASA selling the moon landing tape for 200. You're like, dude, keep the faith. You're freaking out. Like, bro, we've been literally laughing for like 30 minutes about that's so funny. Tim Dillon put out a hysterical Bill Gates skit. Yeah, someone sent it to me, but I forgot to watch it, so I got to watch that soon. All right. Well, Birdie, calm down, brother. It's okay. It's projection tactics. He's freaking out. He thinks I'm freaking out. I don't think I could possibly be less stressed. I literally don't think I could possibly be less stressed. But whatever. I like answering people who are mad. Like sometimes people are like, anomaly, you said Trump is a Zionist. They're like freaking out. I'm like, bro, what are you so mad at? I'm not even mad at you. I think it's hilarious. Like it takes a lot more than that to make me mad. Dude, Trump is on pace to take Arizona. Let's go. Someone said Trump already won. I mean, Trump declared Europe. He said, I won Europe. I'm like, listen, if he says he won Europe, he won Europe. I'm not going to Kanye for president? Nah, not this year. Maybe in 2040. Someone said Annaly's mad. Who's winning? It's very close. I mean, Trump has a path. If he wins Arizona, he holds Georgia. He holds North Carolina. They're going to hold it for a week because they don't want to declare him the winner. He's going to win. They're dragging it out, but he has a path. I mean, they're saying he doesn't, but Arizona goes and Pennsylvania goes. Trump has more electoral votes. But even if not, I mean, we got to check on these 100% ballot drops in Pennsylvania. Sorry, that's not going to fly past me. Rudy Giuliani's there. He's glocked up. Alaska going Trump? Yeah, it's going Trump. Every Trump state they're just holding. Like Alaska never not goes Trump, but they're like, we can't figure it out. We're going to get like they don't want to, every state that Trump has. It's neck and neck right now, no question. But they're trying to act like Biden has an insurmountable lead. They gave him Arizona, and he didn't even win Arizona. Trump's going to win Arizona. Mark my words, but maybe he won't. I don't know. Someone said Anomaly Trump is, hold on. Anomaly Trump is Gilgamesh. Thoughts? I don't know that that's true. I'm not even sure who Gilgamesh is. I hear that word in rap like lyrics a lot. Gilgamesh, is that the guy from, I don't know. Let me look it up. Gilgamesh. Isn't there a Gilgamesh from Smurfs, or am I tripping? Let me see. Is there a Gilgamesh in Smurf? Oh, his name's Gargamel. Okay, never mind. Gargamel's from the Smurfs. That guy is very sneaky. That guy reminds me of like Nate Silver or something, or Ben Shapiro. But let me see. Gilgamesh. Oh, he's like an ancient. Let's read about him. Gilgamesh is Sumerian, was a major hero in ancient Mesopotamian mythology and a protagonist. Yeah. He looks like a nice guy, Gilgamesh. I guess I like him. Milo said on Instagram, I'll read some Instagram stuff now. YouTube, you're canceled. Birdie Cracker ruined it for you guys. Birdie Cracker ruined the whole thing. I'm not looking at YouTube for another 5 minutes. Sorry, I know you guys are there. I appreciate it. Let's see what Instagram's doing. Someone said I'm being humble now, but if Trump wins, I'm going to be so arrogant or something. That's one way to play your cards. Dream Rare, your mustache just moved. Yeah, it's an operation. It grows. I have really lively hair. So like I start sometimes with no mustache. It grows into a full mustache. And then sometimes I shave it. Sometimes I go full beard. So there's a possibility that there's NASA sneakery going on here. The Van Allen radiation belt. It makes sense, dude. Newton's law of gravity. I mean, it's just we went to the moon, whether you want to admit it or not. So listen. Someone said, I'm not going to read that because you're cursing too much, Shane, but what's up with Stockton? No idea. Hey, Dream Rare, do you see Arizona turning red? He's on pace to do it. He's on pace to barely win it. So there's mostly red votes and in-person votes to count. And every time they do a ballot drop, like they're doing it slowly, he gets just enough that he needs. Even CNN said he could win it. So is he for sure going to win it? No, but is it possible? Is it almost, in my opinion, like a coin flip? I think so. I think he's going to win Arizona, but they got to count the votes. I'm not reading. All right, you guys, I'm not reading. Some of these comments are profane. I'm not going to read them. Let's see. Bear Bleedy said, "Oh, gee, that's funny." All right, shout out the Bears. The Bears get a shout out. Birdie Cracker, no more shout outs. You're bugging out, my man. I wonder if it's like Birdie Cracker, like cracker, or are you talking like white guy cracker? I wonder what your name means. Birdie, are you talking about, it could be Birdie Cracker, like birdie putt golf, or are we talking like bird? Are we talking some other slang term? What type of cracker are we talking about? There's a lot of questions I have for you. You think you have questions for me? You call me fake Jesus. I have questions for you. What birdie are we talking about, and what cracker are we talking about? You have a lot to explain because there's a lot of people here who are interested now. Ask me? Okay, I'll ask you. All right, Birdie Cracker's still there. What's up, Ray? What does Birdie Cracker mean? Spotlight's on. What does Birdie Cracker mean? He's still there. Don't be mean to Birdie Cracker. We like him here. He can make fun of me, but we got to be nice to him. I like him. I'm a fan now. All right, let's see. What he's going to tell us what it means. I got to watch. There's so many comments. I mean, you got like 10 seconds, bro, and then we're going to move on. Someone said Lil Pump, please don't go. Yeah, Lil Pump saved America. It was Lil Pump. All right, Birdie Cracker. Okay, my first name is Robin. My last name is Graham. Oh, I mean, you didn't have to like dox yourself, but you like dox yourself. Yeah, my first name is Robin. My last name is Graham, and my address is 55 Birdie Cracker Street. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's okay. That's creative, brother or sister. I don't know. Maybe it's a girl, Robin. Very creative. All right, I like that. We like you. All right, we like. Not afraid. All right, Birdie Cracker, we like you here. Whether you're a guy or girl, you're very mysterious. You took the stage. We actually agree more than you think. I think you misinterpreted what I said. We've been talking about the moon for 40 minutes, and you accused me of like being freaking out. It's all good. We love Birdie Cracker there. Amen. He said, glad to be here. Birdie Cracker is a star. Listen, it's like Trump. You don't always have to like it. You know, he ruffles a few feathers, but ruffles a few feathers. You feel what I'm saying? But you know, overall, we love Birdie Cracker here. All right, let's move on. That's enough attention. Let me see. Let's see. Now he says ... Now you say ... See, you're Birdie Cracker's always pushing it. Like we gave him a shout out. He said, "Amen. I'm happy to be there." I make a joke, and then he just says ... It's like you want to spar. I get it. You're like fake Jesus. You get his attention. We agree. You know, we get on the same page. We learn why your name's Birdie Cracker. It's all funny. I make one joke and then ... That's like, you know, have you ever texted somebody and it's like, hey, how you doing? Good. You know, you want to come here? ... That's even weirder than like, okay. It's like, okay. You're like, you're not even going to give me the OKAY? Okay. 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 Just the two letter okay. But let alone the ... You're like, did you just ... me? Man, that's like that. Someone ... dots me in the text. That's like blocked. Instant block. I'm like, come on. Stop. All right. Josh said, Magnuson said, if Trump wins AZ, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, but loses Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, it's 269 to 269. So if he wins Arizona, if he wins Nevada, if he wins North Carolina, but loses Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So if he wins Arizona and he wins North Carolina and he wins Nevada and Pennsylvania, well, hopefully he wins Georgia. But yeah, that would be crazy. 269. This is a movie, guys. We're in a messed up movie. We're in a really messed up movie where it's like they're just dragging us along. Let's see. Where are we at here? I'm trying to get the up to the date results for you guys, but it's moving so slow. It's like, how does anybody get how this works? They're like, and you're just like, yeah. And you know, like they don't even talk. It's like someone with a mat, like they're like Helen Keller, and you just have to like braille it. You're like, okay, we'll get the results tomorrow. They're like, nah. You're like, just give us the results. That's what they did in Nevada. They literally said like, oh, we just realized people want to hear the results, so I guess we'll just share them now. Like, what is the meeting? How does that work? It's just like, yeah, I don't think people are really interested this year. I don't think they want the results. And then people are like, this is the biggest moment in like modern. Everybody in the country wants the results. He's like, oh, you guys care about the election? We had no idea here in Nevada. Okay, I guess we'll release them now then. I mean, I guess we'll just drop them. We didn't even know there was a big, fuss about it. Like that. This is the energy they have. They're such idiots. I'm so tired. This is why did Trump win? Because everybody's stupid and Trump is hilarious and awesome. All right, I'm going to read this. This is literally a CBS News article. Are you ready? I'm not 8 News now. This is local CBS. It says, just in, capitals, just in. Instead of delaying releasing results until tomorrow, Nevada officials will release more results later today due to the high interest in how Nevada voted. So there's a high end. Oh, you know what? We were going to wait till tomorrow, but there seems to be a high interest in wanting to know the result. You think so? People want to know the results to the biggest election ever? Oh, well, what the F is wrong with these people? These people are so like, who runs this country? Why did Trump win? Because he's Trump. Who are these people? Who does that? Like, he looks at the country and he's like, I can do a better job. And then he did it. So insane. All right. Someone said this call reprogram. This year makes no sense. I'm walking around. Everybody has a mask on. Everybody's dressed like they're in a hospital. Like, everyone's like, can you, like, my friend was looking at apartments today and the lady's like, can you put on a mask? And I'm like, no. Like, and my friend's like, just put the mask on. I'm like, no. So I'm not going to look at the room. Like, I don't need a mask on to look at a freaking empty apartment. So I don't put on the mask, and she knows I'm not going to wear a mask. I specifically tell her, she's like, here, you can have a certificate to go get a free coffee. And I'm like, great. So I'm assuming I could go get a coffee without a mask on. Everyone's dressed like a moron. And I walk in the place and he's like, hey man, can you get a mask on? I'm like, no, dude. So I'm like, I don't want the coffee. So I just sat outside like a puss, not a pussy, but I'm talking like with a, like puss face or whatever you want to talk. I'm not happy. I could have made a better word for that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I was annoyed. And then I'm just sitting, it's like, I can't even get a coffee because I won't wear a stupid mask. I'm so tired of this shit. I only wear my helmet. If I'm going to wear a mask, I wear my helmet. I'm tired of the masks. All right, let's see where we're at. I mean, people are not talking. I guess it's late now. I'm looking for like results. I'm like, come on, guys. And my feed is just dead. So I said, you took us all out with that puss. I'm glad you guys, it was like a subtle, funny thing. I didn't mean it to be funny, but clearly that was, besides Birdie Cracker, that was like the best part. Larry Bird or Magic? Who do I like better or who's better? I know Larry Bird more because he was just like that white guy who looked like he was just like a farmer, but he was just killing it. So like, I always knew Larry Bird. Magic Johnson was like before my time. It's not, like, I just know Larry Bird because like I always looked at old videos of him and he's just like, and you like look at him and you're like, what is this dude, like a farmer? But he's just killing it. Like, he just looks like he's not supposed to be there, but he's crushing it. Whereas Magic Johnson, everyone was just like, he had AIDS. And like, that's all like you heard about when you were a kid. You're like, damn. But it was before my time, so I didn't really watch him play. I knew like Michael Jordan and Patrick Ewing. So I'm going to go Larry Bird. I don't think Larry Bird was better than Magic Johnson, but I mean, he just looked like a farmer and he's just draining threes. So Larry Bird, just off the aesthetic of it, Someone said Caruso's the GOAT. He's another one. I mean, his politics suck. Unfortunately, it's annoying, but Caruso on the Lakers, yeah, he's not supposed to be there. Like, he's balding. He's like 25 or 30 or something. The dude's like probably younger than me, and he's balding. And you're like, who's this bald guy? And then he like dunks and blocks somebody. You're like, dude, that's you get what I'm saying? Like, you got to root for the guy that looks like he's not supposed to be there. Another one, just so people don't think it's racial, they're like, oh, he's just picking the white people. It's like, no, he's bald and he's in the NBA. It's great. Boris Diaw, he's shaped like a pear. Most people probably don't even get this reference if you don't watch basketball, but Boris Diaw, he used to play on the Spurs. He looks like a pear, but he's just out there crushing. Like, you got to root for the guy who looks like he's not supposed to be there. Like Manny Pacquiao. Like, imagine being at a bar and like Manny Pacquiao bumps into you and you're like, bro, calm down. And he's got like a bowl haircut. You're like, dude, stop. And then like, you don't even realize he could just beat the shit out of you like at any moment. You got to – there's something good about the guy who just doesn't look like he's balling, but he really is. Someone said he does look like a pear. I'm just saying I should do basketball analysis. Muggsy Bogues, yeah, you got to root for Muggsy Bogues. He's like – how tall is Muggsy Bogues? Let me see. He's like – I think he was like 5'3" or something. Let me see. Muggsy Bogues height. Let's see how tall Muggsy Bogues was. 5'3". He's 5'3". 5'3". I'm a foot taller than Muggsy Bogues, and he could like dunk. That dude isn't. You got to root for that. Ricky Rubio, got to root for that. Spud Webb, anybody that shouldn't be there. See, the Boris Diaw is an obscure reference, unless you know the NBA. Can eating burnt fried chips give you health issues? I have no idea. I'm sure, but you'll probably be fine. That was the most bizarre question ever. Someone said, can burnt chips give you health problems? Dude, I'm the wrong. That's such a bizarre question. Can a burnt chip give you? Probably, but you're probably fine. I don't know. Don't take my advice on that. That's a crazy question. Let's see. Someone said Muggsy went to high school with my son. That's great. Shout out your son, Janet. God bless Janet. God bless Muggsy and your son. Jason Kidd. Yeah, you gotta like Jason Kidd. Someone said Jorge said pair lives matter. Shout out Jorge. This is true. And Jorge, his name is Jorge Fruit. You know he likes that because pears of fruit. Very good, Jorge. We're on brand. Trevor says charcoal is good. It's true. They have charcoal soaps. I feel like it's a trick question because if I say, no, you could eat a burnt chip, it's fine. And then he eats a burnt chip and then it's in the news. It's like, man dies from eating burnt chip. There was too much arsenic in there. And then he's like, I was listening to my favorite guy on Instagram. He told me I could eat the burnt chip, but I'm like, oh, great. I should. So I can't give out health advice. Like, can you eat a burnt chip? Probably. But I don't know. I've eaten burnt chips. All right, let's see what's going on. We got any more results? I got a crazy feed. People be talking about everything. Let's see. Is Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out bad for you? I'm not really like a health wizard or anything. I mean, I'm not a moron. I know that putting a dirty diaper on my face is not a good idea, and being mandated dirty diaper. I'm not a face pooper, so I don't need a dirty diaper face. But I'm not really like a health expert. I'm not well versed in like diet and exercise really. So I mean, I'm athletic and I work out, but it's really the extent of it. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I would say probably no. Probably In-N-Out's not really healthy. Chick-fil-A is not really healthy. Chick-fil-A, all of the sauces, I love Chick-fil-A, but all the sauces are like soybean oil. The sauces are not good, but they're delicious. Like Chick-fil-A sauce is amazing. Look at all the Chick-fil-A sauces. They're all soybean oil is one of the first ingredients. They're trying to soy you up. And they sell Coke products. It's all like shitty soda. But I don't know. I mean, I like Chick-fil-A. Maybe Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out slightly healthier than others, but In-N-Out actually doesn't have like good meat quality. They did a meat quality test, and I think Shake Shack had good meat quality, like a B or something. I think Wendy's had a D- or something, and everything else had an F. So there's elements of In-N-Out that's probably healthier than others, but then there's the meat quality is not as good as people think. I guess I do more. I do know more than I thought I knew about certain stuff, but I mean, it's all good. You can eat it. I'm not like one of those people like I don't eat Chick-fil-A. I'll eat Chick-fil-A. I'll eat In-N-Out. I'm not as healthy as I lean on. Like I work out, I exercise, I try to stay healthy, but like I'm not someone like, oh, I can't eat that. I'm like, no, I'm gonna eat like 7 Chick-fil-A sauces. Like I know there's soybean oil in it, but it's so good where it's like I get like 5 sauces every time I go to Chick-fil-A, and then I run out and I need more sauce because I dip it in so much sauce. So I don't know. Then I just like try to run or something. Someone said soybean oil gives men feminine figures. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm slowly, like he called me fake Jesus. I'm slowly transitioning into a woman because I just eat too much Chick-fil-A sauce. So you see the transitioning happen. I'm not trying to, but I like Chick-fil-A. They lure me in. They're like, we're Christian. Hey, we love, we're Christian. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, just eat more soybean oil. I'm just, it's so good. Next thing you know, you got to watch yourself. That's why I said, calm down with the soybean oil. Excuse me. Yo, Birdie Cracker, this guy's out of control. He said there is no fake Jesus. So he called me dude, are you trolling or are you really like this? If you're trolling, well done, Birdie Cracker. You're a legend. If you're not trolling, bro, what are you joking me? He called me fake Jesus 20 minutes ago to get my attention to make fun of me. And then I say it to reference what he said. And then he said, there is no fake Jesus. Bro, you're either the best troll in the world or you're a madman. Either way, we still appreciate you. Fantastic. All right. Someone just gave me Guatemalan money. We got to read this. He gave me 70 in Guatemalan money. I'm going to do the transaction on that in a second because I'm just curious. All right. Rodrigo Polo, thank you for the super chat. He said, hello from Guatemala. We had tons of NGOs from Soros here, and we had a fraudulent election last year. We warned many U.S. officials through Twitter, and I have been censored many times DMing my Twitter. God bless you, Rodrigo. Rodrigo with the Guatemalan super chat to tell us there's George Soros NGOs in Guatemala. He tried to warn America, but they censored him. God bless you, Rodrigo. God bless Guatemala. Now I'm just curious. It doesn't matter. I don't need money, but you super chatted me 7 Guatemalan things, and I got to see how much it is. I'm just curious. Guatemala to US dollar. Let's see how much it is. So 7 Guatemalans is $9.01. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm not out here money trying to fiend for it. I'm just curious. I'm like, did he just give me like $1,000 or something? You know what I'm saying? But no, it's $9. I got it. I'm just curious. I don't know. Like, you can give me like 50,000 like Thailand dollars, and I'm like, oh damn, I just got $50,000, and then I do the transactions like $3. You're like, oh. Okay. But all right, the important thing is we'll read it again because it's not about the money. I just thought it was interesting. All right, Rodrigo Polo said, hello from Guatemala. We had tons of NGOs from Soros here, and we had a fraudulent election last year. We warned many U.S. officials through Twitter, and I have been censored many times, DM through Twitter. So it's like everywhere George Soros goes, he goes around, the pound collapses, the Thailand economy collapses, like people don't want him there. And then they call you anti-Semitic if you notice that he's doing it. They're like, you're an anti-Semite. Like George Soros is trying to help your country. It's like he has a track record of just going everywhere and messing everything up. And then you have Susan Wojcicki and Mark Zuckerberg and the owner of CNN. You can't notice or else they'll call you an anti-Semite. They're like, you have to like all of them. They're all enriching your country so much. You're like, I'm not blaming every person for this. There's a lot of great patriot Jews out trying to stop the steal. I mean, honestly, some of the best Trump supporting lawyers, a lot of lawyers are Jewish, but Ron Coleman, I believe Robert Barnes, they're fantastic. They've been such an asset, but like Soros, Zuckerberg, not so much. But you can't hate Mark Zuckerberg, and you certainly can't talk about the Rothschilds or Soros, or they immediately call you an anti-Semite. Such a joke, but whatever. Someone said Israel backed Trump. Israel backs both parties. They're going to win either way. I would say Trump is better for Israel than Biden is, but Israel has their hands in both parties. That's just the fact. And if I said that, this is the crazy part about American politics. If you say Israel has its hands in both parties, they'll say you're an anti-Semite. They'll freak out on the right wing. The Zionists are like, oh my God, you can't say that. I follow Haaretz. I follow what's the other one? I follow like 3 Jewish publications from Israel. I follow Israeli publications on Twitter, and they said that. I'm not saying they're literally like, no matter who wins, Israel's fine. They put out the headline saying like Israel is fine with both parties, and then I say it, and they say I'm an anti-Semite. They're like, dude, they're not doing that. I'm like, they're saying they're doing it. It's not my opinion. That's Biden will probably, I think, be a weaker ally to Israel than Trump is, but I mean, every politician knows there's a certain line you just don't cross, and Biden will know that. If you cross the line, it's not going to work out. So everyone gets it. Jay Killord, 1992 said, can shrooms give you COVID? Can shrooms give you COVID? I mean, I guess if the shrooms are infected with COVID-19, I don't know if you're like passing shrooms off to your friend or something and his hand touched it and he's sick or something. I mean, technically, can it? Probably. Is it likely? Probably not, but I don't know. That's a good question. Thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate it. Birdie Cracker said pagan Gentiles for Trump. Okay. I get you. I get what you're doing now. Let's see. Australia. Shout out Australia. We like America here better, but we like you too. We like everyone. It's just, Nigerians for anomaly, Australia for anomaly, Ireland for anomaly, and Australia for Australia. We'll give you Australia. All right, is counting over today? This is such a joke, man. This election is such a joke. It's insane. Let's see. Oh, someone just gave me a super chat. Let me see. Bridge Burner 77. Somebody's got it. They say don't burn bridges. Bridge Burner 77 says that's all I do is burn bridges 77 times. He said, I'm behind in the video about a half an hour. Thanks for the Dome Boy shout out. I knew you were woke on NASA being full of crap. Well, thank you, Bridge Burner 77. That must be why you're burning bridges. People say, Bridge Burner 77, if you don't believe in the globe, we're not going to be friends with you. And you say, guess what? Light a match. I never wanted to be friends with you anyway. All my friends are going to be Dome boys and girls. So you're welcome here. We don't hate on cube earthers. We don't hate on dome earthers. We don't hate on flat earthers. We don't hate on globe earthers. We love globe earthers. We just don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson Tyson. And we're not huge fans of Shill Nye, the Democratic Party spy guy. Every other globe earther is allowed to be here. To be honest, you can even be a globe earther And you could be Neil deGrasse Tyson and Shil Nye, the Democratic Party spy guy, and we'll still be nice to you here. But we like most globe earthers, but not all. All right. Kyle said, oh, what's up, Kyle? Kyle Buckley. He said, we miss you in LA, dude. We need your energy. Well, Kyle, just throw me a text. We'll make something happen. We'll have a Patriot Day. We'll have a Globe Earth Day. If you're not with the Globe, you don't have to be. We could talk about the Dome, but yeah, just shoot me a text. Good to hear from you. It sucks because it's like I would go to LA sometimes, but there like nothing's going on. Like going to like a bar or a club, like nothing's open. I'm so tired of this. It's like you can't even do anything. So it's like, sir, I want to go to Hawaii too. I have friends in Hawaii, but I don't want to go to Hawaii because nothing's open. I'm like, let's go to Uncle's. It's this huge like Hawaiian thing we go to every week where it's like all the locals just get shit faced and they have a bunch of like soap and food and stuff. It's fantastic. It's like a farmer's market / party. They're like, oh, Uncle's isn't running. It's like nothing's open. Nothing. A jazz night closed. I don't want to go to Hawaii. I don't want to go to LA. I don't want to go anywhere. I'm just going to sit here and cry and hope that Trump wins and hope that somebody frees me from this BS. It's not going to be NASA because they don't do anything. Let's see. Lil Pump. What's Lil Pump saying? Trump campaign assembling an all-star team for election challenging. Dude, Trump, he's a fighter. He's not going to just let them steal this. We'll see what happens. All right, it's 12:56. I could stay for probably like 10, 20 more minutes, and then I got to go. I don't know. I mean, we got 1,800 people here on YouTube still. Appreciate y'all. We got 504 still on Instagram, so we'll keep it rolling. Let's see. Motocross racers for Trump. Thanks for everything to do. MXer 558. We appreciate you, brother. Motocrossers for Trump. Let's shout out motocrossers. Let's shout out UFC fighters. Let's shout out baseball players. I know basketball players. You know, we got players, just players, people that just show up to the club with 5 women. You're like, you're just a player. Like, what team are you on? He's like, I don't play for any team. I'm just a player. Players for Trump. We got a little bit of everything here. 88%, 300,000 votes left. Yeah, it's a close one. Tennis on the beach. I like that. Now you're talking my language. Someone says stoners for Trump. Shout out stoners for Trump. You know, we got kids watching sometimes, although they probably shouldn't at this point because the late night streams get a little wild. It's like watching like Howard Stern at night, like you can't always listen. But, shout out stoners for Trump. Beekeepers for Trump. Oh, I love beekeepers. You have no idea. Me and my friend used to joke about beekeepers because it's just a funny thing to do. So beekeepers for Trump. I joke about it because I can't do it. I'm not a beekeeper, but actual beekeepers are boss. If you're literally a beekeeper, beekeepers for Trump, you're the man. Honey is so cool. Honeycombs are so cool. That's God, one of God's best creation. You have a bee, you have a honeycomb. It's all like octagons and it looks crazy and it's just got honey pouring out of it. Beekeepers for Trump, no doubt. Trans for Trump, furries for Trump, vegans for Trump. You guys threw trans for Trump and furries for Trump and vegans for Trump. You guys listen, everyone for Trump, but I just wasn't worried. I wasn't ready for the furries for Trump. Let me see. Marisa Tran, thank you. $4.99. Appreciate you. Who we got? Hold on. There's more super chats on the side. I can't reach them all. Oh, never mind. I already read that one. Let me see. Healthcare worker for Trump. These lockdowns are ridiculous. I live in a purple area of California, and we only have 8 cases. It's stupid. Shout out. We got Colorado for Trump, Nigerians for Trump, horses for Trump, incels for Trump. Let's see what we got on Instagram. ENTJs for Trump, rock stars for Trump, Jews for Trump, cholos for Trump, dome oligarchies for Trump. Y'all are killing me right now. Frozen burritos for Trump. Okay, all right. Simps for Trump, Furbies for Trump. That's a little disrespectful. WVU for Trump. Absolutely. I went to WVU. Shout out WVU. Oh no, my phone is like full. Okay, we're good. Normandy for Trump. All right, I'm done with it. You guys are getting too crazy. All right, well, skaters for Trump. Thoughts on the libertarian candidate? Joe Jorgensen sucks. I know you're just baiting me because everybody knows I don't like Joe Jorgensen. I know you're trying to bait me into ranting about Joe Jorgensen. I don't want to do it. I don't like her. She's not going to win. She barely has any vote. And if she is the reason that Trump doesn't win, I'm blaming all Joe Jorgensen voters. They say, Anomaly, don't blame third-party voters. It's not the Green Party's fault. It's not the – listen, I voted Green Party in 2016. It is your fault, Joe Jorgensen voters. If Trump loses Arizona and we lose the country to Joe Biden because you wanted to vote for Joe Jorgensen to show your friends how libertarian you are, I'm blaming you. I don't care. I'm not professional. Sorry. I know you're supposed to be professional. Sorry, I'm not. All right, enough. Deplorables for Trump, obviously. Birdie Cracker said, oh, he gave me a super chat. Thank you, Birdie Cracker. He said, God is great. Keep up the righteous agenda. Oligarchs are the real Trump derangement syndrome. Birdie Cracker's a good guy. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Or sister. I don't know. On Twitter, Nick Fuente said, he said, if you go to sleep, Trump loses. I love that. If you go to sleep, Trump loses. Literally. That's why I can't sleep. All right. He inspired me to be here for 30 more minutes. I can't just sleep on Trump. It's a funny joke, but at the same time, it's like literally what they do. Like 4:30, you're like, I'm getting tired. I'm going to go to bed. You wake up in every state that I went to bed. Trump was an 80-20 favorite or 70-30. I wake up and it's flip-flop the other way. You're like, you should sleep, but I'm not going to sleep now because if I sleep, Trump loses. Dabs for Trump. Motocross said dabs for Trump. Are you high? You're high on the motocross thing? That's what you take a dab and you motocross? It's probably fun, but also dangerous. All right, Rodrigo Polo from Guatemala gave another 70 Guatemalan TQs, whatever that means. I'm doing the same you're doing in YouTube, denouncing this agenda. 47,000 subs so far. Let's do a collab. DM Real Rodrigo Polo. Tons of information about Soros minions here. Shout out Rodrigo. I would say message me on Instagram, but I don't know. I got so many messages on Instagram. I'm not trying to act cool, but I have so many messages. I can't even read them all. I have like hundreds of messages every day on everything. So you could try to message me, but I might not see it. The one guy the other day, I did an Instagram live with my man. He's like a psychiatrist. He's cool, but he was like, I messaged you 5 times. And I was like, persistence pays off. But also he was like, I gave you some. I was like, I didn't see any of this stuff. Like I just don't see it sometimes, but you could try. Survey Bear said, it's a 2-slit experiment. The outcome changes if it's observed. Survey Bear, very deep. That's what it is. That's why we can't sleep. Let's see. I'm getting tired, but I feel like I'm hitting a thing where I'm getting like extra energy. Let's see. I had a delicious tea, but I talked so much that the tea is cold now, so I'd have to heat it up. But I don't want to walk off stage right now or camera. Borat for Trump. Now Borat works for the ADL. Borat is such a shill. It's insane, but that's okay. I don't want to get into that. I'll get in trouble. More energy. Exactly. Let's go. Maybe I should get on. I did it last time. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. This thing gives me energy. I did it last time. I mean, it didn't work out so much, but I got one of these hoverboards thing. You see this thing right here? First, we'll get some. I'll get some reps in with the hoverboard, but I stand on this thing and I could hover. This thing gives me a little more energy. Hold on. All right, there we go. You see what I'm saying? Now I could I'm like, what's that guy from the X-Men with the hoverboard? So now I got I can stay to 130 as long as I'm on the hoverboard. All right, hold on. Let me straighten it out. Someone said wet t-shirts for Trump. Come on, let's calm down. Reps for Jesus. Yeah. Actually, hold on. Time out. I can't get some reps. I got some weights too. So look at this. We're on the hoverboard with the weights. Stop playing. I could lift weights while I'm on the hoverboard, and we could talk. Let's see. Let's get some reps for Jesus and let's get some reps for Trump. Every Trump rep's a vote. Look they're finding ballots. They're finding ballots, folks. That's 1 ballot. There's 2 ballots. He just flipped Maricopa County. Let's go. Thoughts on Arizona flipping red is a big possibility. It's a big possibility. All right. Neil Armstrong for Trump. Buzz Aldrin for Trump. All right. All right. Let me put these down. I got a lot of stuff because I don't want to fall out this thing. All right. There we go. I wish I had hot tea. Can I make hot tea, or is it too late? If I go off camera, I'm gonna lose hundreds of people. Careful, don't get a cramp. I'm good on this thing. Look, I'm fast. I got the whole vibe. I could just see what I'm saying. My hair's a little messy in the back, but usually, I don't show my back. I wasn't expecting to get on the hoverboard, but let's see. Make your hot tea. It's all good. I'll just wait. There's more important things. Mal for Trump. I don't know about that. Someone said lockdown vaccines coming soon. I hope not. I'm tired of this stuff. get swolled up. Yeah, I've been slacking the last few weeks because I've been busy. I was in Arizona. I was in Yosemite. Let's see. I'm not saying, all right. Retired mixed race plumbers for Trump. Retired mixed race plumbers for Trump. I mean, I'm sure a lot of retired mixed race plumbers probably love Trump. That's accurate. Hoverboards for Trump, obviously. Iron Man for Trump. All right, let's calm down. Let's see what's going on with the election, because this is supposed to be a serious show here, folks. How are we doing? Is there no more results? What, are we just giving up for the day or something here? Election betting odds. Trump went up a little bit. He was at 12%. Now he's at 14%. They don't know what's going on. Who cares what they say? All right. Eric Ortega said, "You literally look like my uncle." Okay. Shout out to your uncle. He's clearly a good-looking guy. No, I'm just kidding. But Patrick, all right, now I got to look up the Japan stuff. This is cool. Thank you guys for giving me money in different things. I'm learning about currencies too. But Patrick Renaud said, "I'm stationed in Japan. Navy has been forcing us to wear a mask or else you get in a lot of trouble. Suicide rates are high due to isolation. Look it up. My own opinion, not the military." Patrick, thank you so much. I believe you. Military is already a stressful job. Obviously, it's a tough job. It comes with a lot, no matter what part of the military you're in. And adding masks and isolation, it's disgusting. Suicides are up in the Bay Area as well. They're up all over the place, in children, in military, because they're isolating people. This is how you bring morale down. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we bring morale back up for you and other people. But it's like, this is what they're doing. It's so sick. That's why I've been calm. You're about to make my righteous anger come out. I'm not an angry guy, but it's like these demons are so evil. These are crimes against humanity, what they're doing. They're hurting millions of people, and the data is very clear on that. And as far as the data of lives they're saving is not very clear. So it's sick what they're doing. The real settled science is how many people are getting fatter, more suicidal, more depressed, losing their – this is settled science. How many people lost their business? It's not that the masks are working. Ridiculous. But now I'm going to look up. Thank you for the super chat. God bless you, and God bless the troops out there. We appreciate you. Stay strong. Don't give in to the Dr. Fauci's and Bill Gates. Have a good day. We appreciate you, and thanks for letting me know. All right, now we got to see how much Japan to U.S. dollar. I'm just I'm interested in the exchange rate. Let me see. 959 is 1,000 yen. Thank you, brother. I'm learning. You're helping me learn. You're not only giving me money, but you're also helping me learn exchange rates. I know nothing. I'm very uncultured. I know I look cultured, but I'm really not. I'm pretty American. I don't even like to go to Mexico. No offense. I love Mexicans, but it's like, just bring me to Alaska or something. If I want to go to Mexico, I'd just go to San Diego or something. I go to Tijuana, you get cheap stuff. I'm like, I'm American. I don't know. Do I go to Canada? I'm like, I went to Canada just to go to Alaska. That's how American I am. They were like, go to Canada. I'm like, I went to Vancouver just to take a cruise to Alaska. I'm like, bring me back to America. Justin Trudeau, don't trust him. Europe, I've never been to Europe. I wanted to go to like Asia and stuff, but then they destroyed the whole planet. But I'll get there eventually. How was the rally? Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Let's pray, please. Let's do it. Let's see what's going on. Are we... What's going on? If Trump does not end up winning, he'll just lead 3. Let me see. Where are we going? I need to know the election results. They don't get any new ones in? This is ridiculous. Let's see. Who's this? Jeremy said, "I have a feeling that if the Dems get away with the stealing the election, we will turn into Europe and Republicans won't win an election in a long time." Anyway, yeah, okay. I hear you. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Charlene. Appreciate it. This is a very pivotal election. It's huge for multiple reasons. But with what's going on, if you never get caught, if not, you don't stop. You know, this is like human nature, especially if you're like a sick person, where this is like high-level corruption. So even this whole COVID-19 shutdown, if Trump doesn't try to get to the bottom of this, who did it? He blames China. Fauci had a lab in China. I'm not saying that's what it was, but who was involved, who made the bad calls? These are things you got to look into. If no one gets held accountable for this, these people are looking like they're in a candy store. Like they're like, we just got away with the biggest crime against humanity ever. We've like enslaved humanity, and no one's been held. Someone needs to get held accountable. That's why I understand. I don't mean to pick on the Q stuff, because I do understand a lot of what you're talking about. I'm not knocking it. I just think it's funny how like they think Bill Barr's doing everything when he's not. But anyway, I get why people really believe in it, because they want to believe that these people are going to get held accountable, because the truth is they need to be like, they hope they're right, because if they're not right, it's bad times for humanity. Like if these people don't get held accountable, they're never going to stop. Whoever it is, anybody, there's thousands of people. It's like, hold one of them accountable, so then maybe the rest of them stop. If they could do whatever they want on any level and never get held accountable, they're never going to stop. Why would they stop? So yeah, we pray that Trump or Barr or Durham or any of these people actually do something. The difference is I just don't think they're really working on it. Maybe they will, but I'm thinking, I don't know. We got to win the election first, but I get what's going on. These people need to get caught, and they need to be held accountable. Do I follow Max Egon? No. Amazing Lucas is compromised. Someone said, I don't watch him that much, but I mean, I've heard good things about him. I don't know why you think he's compromised, but we got a tough crowd here, man. We got a tough crowd. Shout out Amazing Lucas. All right, let's look at Instagram. Someone said Canada needs Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson's been in like a 2-year, I don't know, he did too many like pharmacy pills or something. Pray for Jordan Peterson. I like his daughter too, Michaela. She's funny. She dressed up as a lobster for Halloween. Shout out the Petersons. Jordan, get better. We need high level Jordan, not like pill Jordan. Charlene said, I meant to mention it's Alaskan currency. People actually believe we have our own currency. Alaskan currency, yeah, English. Well, Alaska's so far out there, people don't know what to expect. I love Alaska, though. Winters are probably tough, but I went in the summer. Alaska's phenomenal. Someone said, what Bible do I read? It's a good question. I think I have the King James Version, but don't quote me on it. I'd have to look. I might have like New Standard Revision or something. I'm not sure. I gotta look at the version. We need Votar for Donald Trump. I mean, I could play it, but is it here? We'll get we'll get the consensus. I played the Vote for Donald Trump song last time, and I was dancing, and like now Trump's down. Is that bad luck or is that good luck? Because I danced. I said Trump's gonna win Florida. We listened to the Votar for Donald Trump song. I'm like, should I play it for good luck or is it bad luck? Should we play it or not? We'll see what you guys see. Play the song or not? What are we doing? Let's see. Play the song. Someone said white girls. Play the song. Play. Let's see. We'll see what Instagram says. Someone said made by Jim Bob and Owen Benjamin skit about Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro. Yeah, I think it's Jim Bob. Yeah. It's hilarious. All right, we'll play the song. People want to play it. Jim Bob's Shapiro thing is hilarious. That's it. That Shapiro Peterson skit on Made by Jim Bob thing is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I laugh so hard. Votar. All right, we're doing it. I hope it's good luck because I did this last time. I gotta do the Trump. That's how Trump dances. That's the Trump. Everybody do the Trump. That's the Trump. Is it good luck? Is it bad luck? I'm not sure. I played it for like an hour last time and just danced on my hoverboard. And then next thing you know, we're down, we're sweating like So is it good luck? Is it bad luck? This is the Trump. Like I got my own moves. I got some style. But the Trump is, you just do that to the YMCA. That's the Trump. You just, and then my friend he does it. He points. Yeah, and then And he does it only for like 20, 30 seconds because like he's not gonna be caught vulnerable just like dancing the whole time. He's like, listen, I got a country to run. So he like give the point, just a few of those, and then it's done. You know, it's like you only get a little bit. As long as you got the moves. Listen, Latinos for Trump. I'm just saying, I think it's good luck because I say if Florida's going to go for Trump, there's too many Hispanics who love Trump, and Trump's Hispanic vote was at an all-time high. And the GOP spent way more time pandering to black people, way more time pandering to gay. But I will say, I think the gays for Trump were actually really high. I saw like gay magazines were mad. They're like, we're furious that there's so many gays voting for Trump. I mean, they're not even doing good with gay. Who voted for Biden? He did worse with black people, not by much, but worse. He did way worse. A lot of Hispanics voted for Trump. Gays voted. Where are these Biden voters coming from? I don't know. Something doesn't add up, but you know, let's give the Latinos a shout out for winning Florida. And you know, I know it's controversial now, but I want to shout out white people. You know, everything's about black, Hispanic, woman, you know, gay. Everybody's just pandering. You know, let's have some white and Latino love. Let's dance to this. You know, we won't affirmative action you. You know, everybody gets equal rights, like Martin Luther King said. It's a banger. All right, let's calm down. It's late at night. You know, I got neighbors. I wonder if they can hear my hoverboard. You think this is annoying? This thing's probably loud. Listen. That's got to be really annoying for them downstairs. I apologize. We got work to do. It's my job. I can't help it. Sorry, I work late hours. Sorry about that, guys. Someone said Bitcoin is killing it. Yeah, I screwed up. I'm an idiot. I had a Bitcoin. I had a whole Bitcoin. I sold my Bitcoin. I sold my Ethereum, and I bought a bunch of oil stocks because I thought Trump was going to win. So I was like, oil will shoot up, and then I'll go back and buy Bitcoin. And then, of course, oil doesn't do anything. Biden's winning. Bitcoin goes up. I'm like, I always mess up. I have no patience in the stock market. I'm like a day trader. You're supposed to just hold. I'm like, I'm always trying to make a buck. And then I got to just calm down and just keep my Bitcoins. All right, let's see what we're doing. Are there any results coming in? Ah, my goodness. Where are the results, folks? All right, let's look at the election betting odds again real quick, and then we'll get back to biz. Let's see, election betting odds, where are we at? I mean, dude, Trump, he keeps going up a little bit. I don't know. We'll see what happens. DJ Dizelle says, if you want to laugh, check out my last post. I was Trump for Halloween. Why? I can't click on your thing or else I'll get off this live stream. It's 1:17, man. It's past my bedtime. I'm not really a late bloomer. I don't stay up till 1 all the time. But someone said you're a Latino anomaly. I'm just finding out. Yeah, I'm part Puerto Rican. So I'm Italian, Polish, Czechoslovakian, and Puerto Rican. So because I'm Puerto Rican, I'm part Latino for Trump. So I get invited to Latino events. And then I just act way more Latino. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, my grandma's from Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico is part of America. It's just a territory. Puerto Ricans for Trump. Mexicans for Trump. Cubans for Trump. Mutts for Trump. White people for Trump. Europeans for Trump. Africans for Trump. Asians for Trump. All right, we'll see. Oligarchs for Trump. You could be my son, anomaly. Welcome. Australians for Trump. We got a few Australians in here. Texans for Trump. All right, we got 10 more minutes. I'm gonna go 10 more minutes. I gotta get my energy. Hold on. If I have my tea, but it's not caffeinated, it's all good. All right, 10 more minutes. It seems like there's no results. I don't know what's going on. Are they done counting? What's the deal? What are they doing? All right. I'll put out a tweet. Let's see. I'm gonna tweet. Let's see. Are any more results coming in tonight. For Trump. Actually, I'll just say, are any results coming tonight? There's my thought process. Are any more results coming in tonight? I'll just say that. Let's see what people say. Golfers for Trump. Okay. Maricopa closed due to unrest. Yeah, I don't know. I know Cernovich and Ali, they went there to stop the steal, but then I think, or maybe just Cernovich went there, but then they closed down or something because there were too many people there. I don't know what's going on, but grandmas for Trump, obviously. We love grandmas. Grandmas for Anomaly. I'm trying to take over the grandma market from Trump. We want grandmas for Anomaly, moms for Anomaly, stepmoms for Anomaly, great grandmas for Anomaly, single moms for Anomaly. We're trying to build a huge mom coalition. We understand the suburban voter is starting to vote for Biden. They're starting to feel COVID-19. We're trying to build a coalition of moms. Once you have moms, it's hard to lose because moms know how to like complain to customer service. Like you're like, I can't get a refund, it's not working. And then you get a mom on the line, you got your money back and then some in 5 minutes. So we're building a strong mom coalition for a reason. We know exactly what we're doing here. All right, let's see. Our results coming in tonight. Not sure. Nah, it seems like we're good tomorrow. Can we go to bed, Dad? So call me Dad. I don't know. All right, communists for Biden. All right, let's go. Dilfs for Trump. Someone said Dilfs for Trump. All right. I'm going to read a few more and then I got 9 more minutes. Let's see. Where are we at? Are there any more results coming tonight? Not sure. Plenty of bombshells. Only Biden at 4 a.m. I just got here myself. I don't know what's going on. David said, what do we do if Trump loses? If he loses and concedes and it's official, it is what it is. I don't know. It's the next chapter of the greatest story on earth. I can't predict the future, but if he loses, he loses. Like if he concedes, he concedes. There's nothing you can really do about it. He's the last line of defense. We're here for Trump. But if he loses, it's over. I don't know. If he concedes, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. But then we gotta, see what he does. If he drops out of politics completely, or maybe he stays a leader, and then the new generation rises, and hopefully we make America great again, better than ever. Revolutionize America, and we'll put green energy everywhere. And Ocasio-Cortez. Put Ocasio-Cortez scarecrows in every farm, and then we'll go from there. And if it's 4 years of, socialist democratism, then we just move on and try to win the next election. So it says Sharpies. Yeah, I know that they made people vote on Sharpies, and then they told people they couldn't vote, but now they're saying they're counting the Sharpies. They're claiming they're counting the Sharpies now. I can't tell you if they are or not, but I saw they're like, no, we're counting them now. It's all just ridiculous. All right. Man, this is way past my bedtime. I gotta get some reps in. You should do call-ins sometimes. I have Instagram call-ins sometimes. I did one with Tito Ortiz the other day, but I don't, unless I do, are you talking about like phone calls? I don't want people to call in. Then Birdie Cracker's going to call in and be like, no, I'm going to F you, man. I love you. F you. And, I don't know if I want to do phone calls. I'll do like live streams and debates sometimes, but we'll see. You look sleepy. It's past my bedtime. And yesterday I probably didn't get much sleep because, crazy night. And I ate too much like crappy food and stuff. But I played tennis today. I got a lot of exercise, so I should be good, but we'll see. Thoughts on the dark winter? Yeah, it's very concerning. Who wants a leader who says it's going to be a dark winter? It's like, it's good. Even at Vietnam, like you're going in Vietnam or, oh shit, I almost fell. Hold on. You're going into like on the beaches of Normandy, like you don't tell people it's going to be a dark winter, folks. Like you never do that. You're like, it's going to be ugly. People like, he's such a, I don't know. It's all bad, but whatever. I'm not going to stress. I'm saying we'll be fine. Let's see. I'm just peeping the betting odds. I'm just curious. Trump keeps going up though. It's so funny. They can't knock his like percentage down. but he's a pretty big underdog right now. But I don't trust anything they're saying. Someone say God is in control. Exactly, we're good. Someone say crybabies for Trump. Hey man, I'm not a snowflake, and I'm gonna prove it. Sweden for Trump. Shout out Sweden. I got you. My Christmas will be ruined if Biden went. Don't let Biden ruin your Christmas. I mean, they're trying to ruin your Christmas anyway. Here's my thing. Obviously, I have my feelings, but like this is one part that's kind of, I get that people are upset, but like this year to me was, I had a good year because I make everything as good as I can make it, but in many ways this year was a nightmare. I mean, they've like closed down society. So we had a Trump White House, and it's not his fault, it's them doing it, but a Trump White House, red Senate. It's not like we had, like everyone's like socialism sucks. It's like we got socialism this year. We got communism this year. Even with a Trump White House, this year has been a mess. So even with him in power, they're doing all these things. I'm not saying I want him to lose. I want him to win, but it's like to act, I don't know. It's like at this point, I'm just already like, okay, they've already upended society. So like, I'm almost like, bring it on. You know what I'm saying? Like we're getting, I think it's called gradualism, I think is the word, or incrementalism. I don't know the exact term, but it's when you just get wear down. You're getting beaten down. You're getting beaten down. You know, that's how I feel like America, even under Trump, no matter who wins, you're just declining. So at a certain point, if I was a doomer and a blue, whatever they're called, like a black pill, or they got a white pill, red pill, but black pill, I'd just be like, you know what, let Biden win and then let people realize what's going on. And then we need to do something about it. I don't want that to happen, but I'm just saying at a certain point, people are going to realize they're taking us down with incrementalism, and we're going to need more than Trump or Trump to be able to get the right people in place to do something about it. So it's like the longer you wait, they're burying you in a hole to the point where it's 2020 and the best president we've ever had. We're still living in this is the least free America we've ever seen. This is the worst free speech that we've ever seen. Of course, it's probably going to get worse under Biden. I'm not saying it's Trump's fault. It's not. But this idea that he was able to fend this stuff off, he wasn't. And I'm not blaming him. It's an impossible task. He could barely even win a fair election. But, you know, this idea that like it's going to be totally fine if he wins, it's just not true. And that's why I'm not as freaked out as everyone else. And this is why, you know, a lot of the massive Trump supporters, and trust me, I love Trump more than most people, but the massive Trump supporters, the QAnon people, we're not on the same wavelength because I believe, I have faith. I'm not a hater. I understand what you guys are talking about. I've read the posts. I'm not unfamiliar with what you're talking about. And a lot of it I understand and it's real, but I'm not one of these people who thinks that Trump's going to like wipe my ass for me. He's done more than enough. He's done more than anyone's ever done. And I'm appreciative and grateful. But like people live in this world where they're like, Trump's already done it. It's done. I'm free. He's going to do, he didn't do any of that stuff. Like Hillary Clinton didn't get locked up. You got locked up. John Podesta didn't get locked up. America got locked up. Europe got locked up. So even under Trump, as hard as he's fighting, this all happened. And I'm not mad about it or blaming him, but like eventually I think Trump supporters are going to have to learn the lesson one way or another. Hopefully it's not with the Biden victory, but learn the lesson that, you know, like eventually you're going to have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and figure out your next strategy of like, you're losing the First Amendment. You're like, there's got to be a next play, win or lose for Trump. There's a moment that's coming, you know? And that's why I like some of the people that get banished from the right wing. They say they're too far right, this or that. You know, I appreciate what they're saying because I'm listening to them, and what they're saying basically is similar in a different way. What I'm saying is incrementalism, where it's like they're wearing you down to never win an election again. When the Fuentes crowd says that, Charlie Kirk doesn't want to hear it. And part of it's not true because Hispanics, you know, that vote is flipping, and we can flip that to the point where Republicans can crush as long as we have fair elections. But at the same time, there are certain things that they're incrementalizing where it's like if Trump wins or whoever, they're still going to get to a point where like, and this is the moment, they're coming for everything clearly, but like, you get what I'm saying? I don't think you should be like wildly afraid, because if Trump wins, the game's not over. The game is only over in your head. You get what I'm saying? Like the game, like Trump wins, it's over. We won. It's like, no, Trump wins and every social media is against him. Every mainstream media is still against him. There's a hill to climb either way. So if Biden wins, the hill becomes obvious. Every Trump supporter snaps out of it. Every QAnon person snaps out of it. I don't wish it on you guys, but like you'll snap out of it, or maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be like a left winger where no matter what happens, you're never going to give it up. But like I'm hoping people would snap out and be like, okay, there's a hill to climb. We got to climb it. But right now with Trump, that hill's there. Whether he wins or loses, that hill is still there. But so many people think it's not theirs. So my thought is on like a energy wavelength, it's like if enough people take that for granted, you're going to get the lesson. That's how life works a lot of times. So if like enough people don't realize it, they're going to give you a Biden just to show you that it's there. But if enough people appreciate Trump and understand how much he's doing, but at the same time realize like if he wins, it's not like we climb the mountain. It's like we have a long way to go. And there's things that they're going to do to block him. Someone said, I'm going to read this real quick. Someone said white dudes on the right aren't voting anymore. And I have, to be honest, I have to say this is kind of predictable for many reasons. But to me, Trump and Charlie Kirk and, a lot of these people who control the right wing, God bless their souls, they've gone all in for the black community. Everything's black, everything's gay. They don't even pander to Latinos. It's so funny. They don't even try to pander to Latinos. But the Latino vote skyrocketed. Why? Latinos don't need to be pandered to. You can do good ads and try to reach out to Latinos, but we don't need, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the whole Latino community, but clearly other people don't need that to get something like, okay, this guy's better than Biden. I don't like socialism. He didn't pander to Latinos barely. All they do is pander to black and Hispanic, and they rig the system against white people just like the left wing does. Their whole spiel is we're not the left. We don't want to rig things against you. Affirmative action's bad. But what is the fact that why did I get invited to the White House? Because I'm part Hispanic. How come thousands of black people got invited to the White House, but white journalists, there is no event for white journalists. You get what I'm saying? Your event is the press pool. There's 20 passes. If you're black, you could be a smaller creator that doesn't even have a following, and you can get invited to the White House because they want the optics of having a lot of black people there. And no disrespect, I love my black Trump supporters, Latino Trump supporters, obviously. But what I'm saying is the GOP and the Charlie Kirks, their strategy is gay identity politics, black identity politics. And, we're going to pander to other races and give affirmative action type handouts to them while railing against affirmative action. White people are not going to like that forever. It's like you're doing millions of things for the black community trying to get their vote. You're doing things for the Latinos to get their vote, but not as much. And what's the lesson? The most pandering, which was the black community, got the least amount of increase. The Latinos, out of minorities, it's a bigger demographic, less pandering, bigger surge for Trump. White people got the least pandering from Trump because Trump's afraid to be, he's not a white nationalist. He's not a white supremacist. He's not, he never talks about anything white because you're not allowed to. It's like the whole media has been rigged against it. So, less white people voted for Trump because he's done less for them. And he doesn't, it's not even that he doesn't pander to them. He does the same thing the left wing does. So I think, I think there were people who pointed that out personally, months ago where they were saying if Trump flips 4% white vote or 10%, that's huge because there's more white people. That's the biggest voting bloc in America who gets the least airtime. Black is 12% and black runs everything. Black Lives Matter, black identity politics on the right. It's like black people get like 60, 70% of the pandering, but they're only 12% of the vote. White people are 40 to 70% of the vote, whatever it is, and they get the least amount of pandering. So to me, it's only natural that he lost that demographic because everybody's afraid to say anything white because it's like if you're white, you can only be like a self-hateful, like left-wing loser or something. You're like, I hate myself. My parents were Christopher Columbus. I conquered America. I'm so sorry. We never did anything good on this world. That's like the status quo white person, which is why they hate Trump so much because Trump is a white straight male who is not apologetic. He's like, I'm not going to apologize for my skin color. They hate that. So, I think these are things that I kind of saw anyway, but, it's I know a lot of people who didn't vote for Trump that are white that are considered far right because the Charlie Kirk, like I'll give you an example. Nick Fuentes is somebody who's been banned from events. Charlie Kirk hates him. Ben Shapiro hates him. They call him a racist. They call him an anti-Semite. They call him Hitler. And Nick Fuentes has a bigger crowd than a lot of they do. On election day, I think he had 50 to 70,000 people live, like 50,000 people. So this guy's further right. He likes Trump, but a lot of his supporters don't. And they've been, disenfranchised by the mainstream right because they're all afraid to play white identity politics. So this is a voting bloc that's younger. And, I think you don't have to say white, but when you pander so much to black, you pander to Latino, people are like, I thought this is, the right was all about equal opportunity. Like clearly in some cases it is, but in some cases it's not. If you're white and you have a message and you're black and you have a message, you're going to get more play as a black person, even on the right wing, in my opinion, because they're looking for black voices. I'll give you an example. If I go out on the street and I talk about, what I think about Trump and the black community, it's not going to sound, the optics of me saying that are not good. But if a Nigerian mom says that, it goes viral. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking it, but I think there's pandering on both sides. And I think it backfired. Honestly, I think they spent a lot of time on the black community. They spent little to no time on the Latino community. They spent a lot of time doing exactly what the left wing does to white people. And what did you see? You saw a massive surge in Latino, even though they didn't pander to Latinos, and you saw the white male actually decline. So the media was wrong. But this is, before I go to bed, this is my one thing that I see GOP doing. You have Charlie Kirk, Shapiro, these types, they're saying, I'm not a racist, but Nick Fuentes is a racist. I'm not an anti-Semite, but he's an anti-Semite. So they don't want to get cancel cultured, but they're willing to cancel culture other people. And that type of mentality backfires because it's not honest. It's the same thing that they claim other people are doing. And it's actually not popular. I think the best thing Trump can do is just be raw and real. But the second you give into the media where you say, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to seem racist. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to seem like an anti-Semite. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to seem this way. Trump won the election by not caring, And I think Nick Fuentes has a huge audience because he just doesn't care. He doesn't care what people think. He doesn't care if it comes off wrong. He's making my buddy Jaden O'Neill, who, he was Flecka's intern for a while. Now he's become a big movement on the further, right. And he's just making these really funny, edgy jokes that this crowd does not care. But to me, I like that more, to be honest, because I'm not a PC guy. So when I see the right wing acting like they're against identity politics, but they're playing it the most, acting like they're against cancel culture, but they're playing it the most, acting like they're against, or for free speech, but they're really not. And they're really doing sneaky things with the Republican Party to give up free speech for their favorite allies. And then you see all that stuff. I don't think that's the future. They think that that's a strategy difference. They think that's the future. Play it safe, play in the middle. There's certain parts of that are good. I get it. I understand that you might not want to go so far, but I think we need to dial back on the, on the overt censorship. Because to me, I think the future, I even understand when I come up here, I understand there's certain things that I'm going to say most people would not say. I understand there's certain things that I want to say, but I'm good enough with words to put it in a way that I think is palatable. And I'm fortunate that I'm that, but not everyone is that way. But in general, there's certain things that it's like, it's going to be a conversation, whether they want it to be or not. Like they could ban Nick Fuentes, they could ban Alex Jones, they could ban Owen Benjamin, but they think they're banning that conversation. But that conversation is getting more and more popular because like Owen's talking about Jewish people a lot. And that's what, is the edgy part about him. But there's a huge audience for that because it's so banned that it becomes interesting. You go to 4chan or 8chan or whatever those like little, message boards are. One of the biggest things that they talk about there is like Jewish people in Israel. Why? Because it's the most banned thing in the planet. So if you can't say it anywhere else, you go to places that you can say it. BitChute is another one. BitChute.com is the YouTube that's countering YouTube. There's a lot of Jewish talk on there. Why is that? It's because that's the number one thing that they ban. They banned it on YouTube. They banned it on Facebook. They banned it everywhere. So the only place you're allowed to say is BitChute. But then they shut BitChute down. It's only actually making it more popular. So that's kind of my one, I won't even say critique, but one thing that I don't like about the GOP and their movement is like so much identity politics to black, identity politics a little bit to Hispanic, but to me, it doesn't translate like they want it to. And I think they underestimate the Latino community. Like they spent not that much time, I feel like, but they got huge results. They kind of act the same way towards white as liberals do. And they're afraid to like really say something, like they don't want to go there because they don't want to sound racist or anti-Semitic or xenophobic or Islamophobic, whatever. But to me, it's like they're gonna call you that anyway. Like I'm not. I know I'm not racist. I know I'm not sexist. I know I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't care. I think I'm hilarious, and a lot of people do. I'm getting millions of views a week. I have a huge Nigerian audience. I have a huge Jewish audience. I have Jews text my friend all the time, like, dude, tell Anomaly I love his stuff, even though I'm Jewish. Like, I could care less what they say. So, I think everybody's afraid of getting labeled that. But at a certain point, if you're right wing, they're going to call you that anyway. There's no reason to hold back. Like, they call Charlie an anti-Semite. Charlie is the most pro-Jewish, pro-Israel right-winger on the planet. He's so pro-Israel and pro-Jewish, it's not even funny. But he still gets called an anti-Semite. So why would you call someone else an anti-Semite? Or, like they're too far right. To me, I don't know. My friends are the type that like I like to have raw conversations. I can't imagine just saying to my friend like, dude, you're racist. Dude, you're an anti-Semite, or like you're xenophobic, or like these words are so overused. It's almost like comical. It's like it's just what somebody says that's too sensitive. Like I make a joke and like it's like being like, oh man, I didn't know you hated women. Like I don't hate women. I just think it's funny to say. Like, why are they going to the moon? And they don't have suits, or I made like a NASA joke earlier. It's not fun to like be so sensitive. So we'll see what happens. But I understand you're trying to get a lot of people. To me, I think the truth is inevitable, and I think in 5-10 years, if Biden wins, you're going to see a huge fly to the right wing. Like the Fuentes type and the Owen Benjamin types are going to get way more popular. Because they're more raw, and when things get worse, if they get worse under like a Biden, people are going to want somebody strong and somebody straightforward. And either way, I think like 10-20 years, like cancel culture and overset political correctness, it's not sustainable. 40 years ago, George Carlin, liberal, saying all this stuff. Now, no liberals say it, and half the conservative party's allowed to say it. Like that's why these people make these jokes. Jaden, Nick, Owen, they make the jokes because it's extra funny because no one else is saying it. So the fact that you will say it, I know John Miller gets in a lot of trouble. He's a black news host from Blaze TV. He says a lot of messed up stuff on Twitter too, but that's kind of what makes it funny because he knows when he types it, this is like what you can't say. So I'm going to say it because it's like really funny to say it. It's extra funny because everyone's going to get mad at me. I find it hilarious. That to me, that's like peak humor. I'm like, yo, how funny would it be to say that? Like, that's so bad, but it's like, it's not like bad, but it's like people are going to get mad at this, even though it's funny. To me, that just makes it like extra ripe for comedy, but we'll see. I think cancel culture is unsustainable. Big tech censorship is unsustainable. Pandering, too much on both sides is like unsustainable. And eventually there's going to be like a backlash one way or the other. So that's my take on it. I'll read a few more. I got extra energy now. Is this my? Hold on, my thing's dying. All right, I guess I'm out of batteries on my little thing. I feel weird now. I came back down to earth. Someone said, "How stoned are you?" I'm not high at all. I'm not smart. I go to bed at like 12 o'clock, so I'm not usually up this late. I'm not even remotely high. All right, let's read a few. We'll read a few and then I'm out. Thanks for encouraging me to speak more and more and not care about the backlash. Yeah, God bless you. And I mean, it's not my fault. I'm not responsible for humanity, but I apologize that people are so nasty and rude because, like, I understand why people don't want to talk. I'm kind of like an all-in guy in the sense of like I've just always been kind of a bad kid in the sense of like listening to rules or caring what people think. So I've never really cared. This was not hard for me, and it's still not. But like for other people, if you have certain jobs, I get you can't say it. Like it's not even like allowed. So it's very brave, no matter how big of a following you have or what your profession is or whoever, even if it's your own family, it is very brave to like actually say this stuff, no matter how small it is. And I feel bad that people have to deal with this stuff. It's really sad that this is the state that it's in, but it is. So if you speak out, it's brave. But if you don't, I understand why, depending where you're at. is Arizona really legit? I mean, oh, we got more Australians in here. Michelle, man, Australians taking over. All right, let's see. I'm gonna check the votes real quick one more time. Let's see, Arizona. I mean, Arizona can possibly flip. They have the path there. It's just they called it for Biden, but they have enough. I think they have like 400,000 votes, and if Trump wins them 2-1, he'll win the state, and he's been winning them 2-1 in every ballot drop. So we'll see what happens. Someone said, how far, I don't know, how fan the GOP bounce back from the Biden presidency. I believe conservative will be the counterculture. Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm saying, like, people are like, what happens if a Biden wins? I don't want Biden to win. I don't want to think about it. But yeah, people are going to have to adapt. People are going to have to evolve and not, be snowflakes about it, but figure out how to, win the culture. And I think I've never seen anything like it. Like this year, so many people became superstars on the right wing, like Bryson Gray, even Nick Owen, like people that aren't even like Owen was probably like, he was like a comedian. He was probably more like left wing or liberal or libertarian or whatever. Like most people that are huge and considered right wing now, they weren't even right wing 4 years ago, because like that movement just, truth became so obvious. Like left wingers went insane. Liberals got nuts. They started censoring. They started just acting insane. So to me, all the energy is with us either way. Like regardless of who wins, I think we have 4 years to really pitch to people why this makes sense, why it's right. That's all it is, and why what the left wing is doing doesn't make sense. And I think once you realize it, they call it the red pill, like the Matrix, because in the Matrix, once you took the red pill, they said, you took the red pill, you can't go back. You see the truth, but you can never go back to the old ways. So like once you see the truth, there is no going back, because it's like you might honestly, you only go further down the rabbit hole, and then you get into another thing and you're like, oh, the Republicans aren't this enough, and you learn more and more. There is no like, oh, I'm gonna go really liberal again. Like it very rarely happens. So the truth, I believe, is on our side. The energy is on our side. We got superstars. For the first time, we have people who are doing music and that can actually make good music, and, certain celebrities and, new celebrities that are even realer than old celebrities. So I think it's going to be fine either way. I think I wouldn't stress. And, either way, like someone's like, what are you going to do? The same thing I'm going to do during a Trump presidency. Hopefully, I'm just praying under a Trump presidency, I think it'll be easier to do. Under a Biden presidency, I think the risk of censorship and the risk of authoritarianism is way more high. So the fact that excuse me for the stutter, that I won't even be able to do that is a possibility, but we'll see. All right, I got to go, guys. This was like a filibuster. I don't even know how long I was here. I see it on YouTube, 3 hours and 26 minutes. I've never done it this long. I'm exhausted. I never stay up this late, but it's election night. I'm here for y'all and for myself. Appreciate y'all. Let me see. Do you think the Senate will fold again like they did with Obama? I don't know. I mean, the Senate's looking good, but with these races and these ballots, I don't know what they're doing. We'll see what happens. Have a good night. That was fun. I'll be back tomorrow with some more stuff of some sort. We'll figure it out. All right. YouTube going off, and then Instagram going off.